Guys hear this? I know it's all clicking. My bad. I'm doing this from the hotel. Oh, you can. Excellent, 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 excellent. Sorry, I had to monitor it. My bad. Doing this from the hotel room today. And boy, are my levels hot. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, there ain't going to be no 5 hours today. I can tell you that for sure. Everybody got their passports? I already apologize for the echoes. There's going to be a lot of echoes today. But this is a casual stream. This is the Vegas casual stream. Thank you very much. At least it's not echoing, right? Live from Las Vegas. Here we go.
Why do you think so many men are traveling overseas to find wives in other countries?
Men are traveling overseas to find wives. Why? I'm right here. I'm single.
No,
Why? I want to be married.
Right, but I'm saying, do you typically see women traveling overseas to
men
find
are
husbands?
traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education, it's because they want a woman who is dependent on them for their livelihood, for their resources, to have a good life. And I don't think that that is a good thing.
A lot of the men I know that go overseas to find wives are not great dudes.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, they're pervy.
No, I can't.
There's this new movement called Passport Boys. It's when guys, American men, go over to whatever country, find someone, marry them, and bring them back. I'm beginning to jump on board with this whole thing.
I support the Passport Brothers. If we live in a society where a select few of people have access to the majority of women, the athletes, the entertainers, the rappers, the millionaires, the billionaires,
go get your passports. It's that bad. And we young. Go live.
Go live, King. Don't be a perv.
Women generally don't go for the nice guy because the nice guy tends to be a doormat. Do they care about these things you say? Respect. I want someone who's going to be respectful and kind. Yeah, you do. But you want the respectful, kind guy to also have the game and to be the guy you want to sleep with and to be the guy that you're attracted to. So if you take that respectful, kind guy and you remove all of the other attributes, you take out he has no game all of a sudden and he's not well put together and maybe he's a little bit overweight and you're not attracted to him at all. He could throw respectful and kind to you from here till kingdom come, and you're just going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. No, because respectful and kind needs to come in a package that you're attracted to.
You'll be a high-value woman if you've been promiscuous in your past. This is a sad question. I think there's so many people in the red pill community that are saying, oh, if you're not a virgin, then you're worthless as a woman.
Shouldn't her father have a take on this? I feel like her father should have some kind of take on this that's like, well, you might say men don't particularly like it when the woman they're interested in has been ran through by 100 men and possibly with perfect utility. And so what do we do about that? Really, what do we do about that? We're acknowledging openly that it's just not something most men desire or like. And so what do we do about that? Sounds like she's saying to just sweep it under the rug. Okay.
Stop listening to the red pill stuff.
You have this huge red pill community online. Their whole thinking is that feminism is oppressing men.
No, their whole thinking is that radical social justice warriors are polarizing society. And that's exactly what's happening. You can't accuse the red pill society of holding viewpoints that are even vaguely commensurate with people who commit crimes of that magnitude.
They give your body to anybody.
The only reason a man would be insecure about a woman's body count, my friends, is because they're insecure that they're not going to be able to satisfy the woman as well as the other men in the body count.
Actually, I'd be more concerned about the fact that your oxytocin receptors have densified to the point where you can't effectively pair bond. I'd be more concerned with the abnormal levels of sexual discipline and inhibition that emotionally healthy women tend to exhibit. I'd be more concerned about your impaired judgment when it comes to selecting a mate. I'd be more concerned about the fact that you're so desperate for emotional validation that you will willfully give your body to anybody. Concerned about the fact that you don't even receive orgasms from most of the men that you've dealt with, because if you did, you would keep that guy around, seeing as how elusive female orgasms typically are. I'd be concerned about the fact that I'm dealing with an emotionally unhealthy woman who likely suffers from substance abuse and depression. Concerned about the emotional baggage. Concerned about a hidden STI due to your increased risk. Concerned that I just increased my chances of divorce by 30%. Concerned that I just maximized my chances of being cucked.
As a former loud and proud man hater, here are 5 things that have changed the game for me. Number 1, I realized I didn't hate men. I hated the way I allowed myself to be mistreated by men. Big difference, right? You are not a victim. You are a participant. And when you point the finger, you miss out on the opportunity to grow. Number 2, I stopped saying I didn't need a man. Because if I want a relationship with a man, then I need one, right? Okay, that's that on that. 3, you can't be that serious about getting picked if you're not in the gym at least 3 times a week. You don't even take care of yourself, so how would you expect someone to take care of you? Number 4, I stopped entertaining stragglers. And stragglers are guys you meet along the way that you know you're not really ever going to take seriously, but you use them for your own personal entertainment. Number 1, that's wrong. Number 2, you're sending a mixed message. Stay committed to what you want. Most importantly, number 5, accountability. Woo. I analyzed my behavior and what parts of me resonated with these men I deemed problematic. I'm here to tell you that the call is coming from inside the house, and it's time to pick up.
Say to young men who are irritated at women is, if you're irritated at women, you know, as a class of creature, there's something wrong with you, because they're right. You're wrong. They're right to not pick you. If they're not picking you, it's because they're right. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but what you have to understand is that, what do you expect from women? If you got pregnant because you had sex, you'd be pretty damn choosy too. So, you know, clue in a bit. And then, well, don't they find you attractive? Well, maybe you're not. Like, have you paid attention to how you dress? Do you have a plan? Are you as educated as you could be? You know, are you a liar? Are you a rabid pornography user? If you were better, you'd be more successful with women.
Have you had any relationships that were like horrible or that were absolutely stand out? I mean, have you had one that like really stands out, kind of like what I explained?
So long ago, but my first relationship ever, I was very young, it was so toxic. I mean, I was literally told, like, you are not worthy of love. Like, you're lucky that I even like you.
I'm sorry.
You know, when you're so in it, you just believe it, because you're like, this person who I really care for is telling me this, I believe them. And he burned me with a cigarette.
You? Jesus, like, that's horrible.
Said, if you love me, you'll let me burn you with a cigarette. I was like, okay. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. It's a constant.
Okay.
It's just a constant reminder that the past is there, and he just made me feel like I was so not worthy of love. And then I never wanted a relationship because I was so sick of pretending. I know now that I'm deserving of love, I'm worthy of it, but I was once a different person, and now I am changed for the better, so.
I honestly feel like you should never have to sacrifice who you are to make someone else happy. And your past matters to me. Like, I care about what happened. It's nothing I can change, but like, it tells me about what you've been through.
This brings me back to a time I call old Nicole.
What's old Nicole?
Old Nicole was drinking a lot. I was pretty selfish because I wanted everything to be about me and me enjoying my best life. And I was out at bars all the time and, you know, just drinking and really living it up. And once I hit like 28, that's when I started my whole like, personal growth journey. Moving to Nashville was part of that. And ever since I moved, I call her New Nicole. I know, I don't know why I do that, but I feel like it's cute. You don't like it.
No, it's cute.
I probably won't stop, but.
My message to her exes, they're lost. They let her go and treated her the way they did, and it's my gain. So like, I'm truly happy to be her husband.
She's right. You're wrong.
I used to surf, but my wife Julie wanted to buy a big home, so we purchased in the Inland Empire. Got a real nice yard, big place. There's Bass Pro Shop, I spend most days on the 91 freeway, an hour and a half each way going to work. Gotta cover that nut. Keep Julie happy. My friend Kyle, he lives in a studio apartment by the water. He's fit, slim, surfs every day, and has a new woman over at his house most nights. I don't want to say that moving out here sucked the life out of me, but it did. I wake up most Saturday mornings to the sound of my neighbor revving the engine of all his motorcycles, smoking Camel Lights, and drinking his Monster Energy. I used to surf the Huntington and the Newport. Get out there about twice a year now.
Married to her. I made that happen. She didn't want anything to do with me. I was too short, had no tattoos, and no criminal record. She was attracted to the bad boys. She wanted a musician. I didn't fit any of her criteria. So I made that happen. I called her 26 times over 13 months and just kept, hey, just thinking about you. Give me a call sometime. She never called me. Never took it personal. I'd show up where she was, dated her best friend, Erica.
First off, how do you not take that personal? You have to think, okay, she doesn't like me.
You don't take it personal. You can't take it personal.
And then you dated her best friend.
Yeah, it's an old Italian move.
Was that a part?
Just to make her feel safe. Her friend ended up setting me up with her. True story, dude. It's an old Italian trick. You don't know these tricks, man?
Never heard that trick.
Oh, yeah. When you go to Italy, I was going to Italy once. I learned from everybody. You give me one piece of information, I'm keeping it forever, and I'm going to use it one day. When you're in Italy, if you meet somebody, Maria, you want Maria, and she's with two other girls, do not pay attention to Maria. Pay attention to her friend, and then buy her some ice cream.
Want a better marriage? Stop being a dick. Start appreciating your wife like it's the first day you met her. Start appreciating your wife. Guess what happens? She appreciates. But again, is it rocket science? How do I get a marriage like theirs? How do I get a marriage like theirs? Quit being a pussy. Quit talking like a little bitch. Be a man. Go out and earn some money. Let her spend it. If she can outspend what you're making, you need to make more. Now, some people, I don't agree with that, Brad. Well, let's check bank accounts.
Popular with my army buddies to essentially say, oh, you got married. You don't have any experience. And we all know what they meant by experience. Finally, one day I just got tired of this. I looked back, I said, let me clarify something for you, dude, when you talk about experience. Here's what that means for you. You have a lot of essentially insignificant trysts with women you didn't care about and who didn't care about you. Right. So the exponential relevance of that is the equivalent of you having a bunch of GEDs and people you're never going to see again and don't care about. I've been with one person that I love deeply, respect, and am passionate about. So you got a bunch of GEDs, dude, I got a PhD. Who do you really think knows what they're doing?
You do, honey. Fucking pussy doesn't get wet around your man. Don't marry him. Don't fuck him. Get rid of him. You should be soaking your dress, your pants, whatever, before the man ever gets a chance to have sex with you.
But remember, she's right. You're wrong. Gentlemen, sorry, this is live from Las Vegas. I was going to do this at Sticky Paws today, but Sticky Paws is actually closed on Sundays. So therefore, we get to do the fun casual stream today. So here we are. I don't have my sound drops, although I will try to do them from the laptop. I am actually using the laptop's, I have the camera today, but I just decided I would give it a shot with this. If I look extra smooth today, it's because that's the software that StreamYard defaults to, not me. Would you like me to take it up for you? All right. Wow. So lots of things to talk about today. Let's see. Rolo, curious question. Who died and made Jordan Peterson the answer to masculinity? He's not even a clinical psychologist. Not anymore, anyways, I don't think he's practicing anymore. He's just an average professor who went viral on TV what about David Buss? Oh, would you like me to talk about David Buss? I'll talk about David Buss today. You know what? I'm going to star that and we'll come back to it. Don't worry. I'll try to. This is very relaxed today. Very relaxed because I have been busting my ass since I got off the plane from Reno to Las Vegas. When did I even get here? I got here on Wednesday or Thursday. I got here Thursday. We did Access Vegas. Access Vegas is slowly maturing into what I want it to be. And I know people are like, "Oh my God, yeah, don't worry, we're getting everybody." I have the heavy flamer today, brothers. Everybody gets a little bit. The problem with using the heavy flamer is like when I use the heavy flamer, sometimes friends catch a little bit fire on that too. So, you never know. Let's see. Yeah, get in line. Get in line. All I can say is get in line. I mean, and it's funny is I like Joker. I don't have a problem with Joker. It's like all it took was me agreeing with Paul about how monk mode is cope. And I get a half an hour long like video reaction for that. Why? I mean, rather than like, and of course, everything comes out as like, and yes, I only watch about half of it. I mean, I got about through 15 minutes of it, and I'm like, well, okay, I get what you're saying. I get that you're upset, Joker. However, it's like, what did I say that's wrong? Oh, well, guys aren't really like that. Oh, not all men are like that. So it's the Naywalt. Is that what it is? We'll get to the reason why I'm actually even doing today's show. Like people say, "Oh my gosh, Rome's coming out against Passport Bros." Here's your Passport Bro. This is your Passport Bro show, by the way. Sorry, I was hoping to do it in a little bit better environment at Sticky Paws, but it's okay. It's like I would almost rather do this. This is kind of fun. I have to like get used to doing things on the road every now and then. So, anyways, yeah, well, I want to tell you, Paul is right. Okay, I got that. But what I also want to talk about also today is, excuse me, it's a little. I had all these visions of doing this on the couch and being all casual, and now it's just like, ugh. If the audio sucks, please let me know. I'm trying to make this USB mic work. I'm gonna see if I can just put it in my lap and see if that'll work. Is that better or that better? I think that's better. Sorry, you guys get to help me A/B test today's show. Okay, so anyways, as far as the reason why I wanted to get to the Passport Bros thing today, and really kind of, I guess Joker kind of fed into this as well. And again, nothing against Joker, but it's about the word cope. So today's theme is going to be about cope. Why do we call it cope? Why is it? Oh, that's cope, man. That's just cope. That's just you creating a narrative for yourself. Well, there's other words for that, by the way, that we just don't. It sounds cooler. It's, what is it? 4 letters. It's COPE. That's a lot easier to spell than like projection. That's a lot easier to spell. It's a lot easier to like sort of catch on to than any other like sort of psychological dynamic. Hi, Rolla. I'm 19 years old. Thank you for that. I don't have my soundboard with me today. I apologize. I would have had I been in another place. I'm 19 years old. I've been hitting the gym, studying to be a doctor. By the way, I'll be on top of my game as far as super chats are today, and have been studying your work to leverage opportunities in college and women. I finally started looking after my best interest. Thank you. Good. See, that right there is more valuable to me than people going, "Oh, Rollo saved my life somewhere," or "Rollo did this," or "Rollo is he getting the credit he deserves?" This is more compliment. This is more flattering to me, put it that way. But Rollo just likes flattery. Yeah, this kind of flattery I do. Let's see. I tell you, was he? I don't think so. I think he was just like, I think he just wanted to like join the conversation again. And I get it. That's fine. I haven't even seen him in a long time. I have him. I subscribe to his channel, but I don't. I haven't been getting any of his like notices recently. I don't know if he's actually even doing much. Trying to clarify, 90% of women. I got you, dude. I actually starred your other super, but thanks for the double up there. Trying to clarify, 90% of women with bachelor's degree divorce. Is that overall or 90% of those who initiate divorce? Okay. Would you like me to give you the stat breakdown? Here we go. First off, if you have a college degree, you're more likely to get married in the first place. So what I love about these guys who think, "Hey man, I got you red pill guys. You red pill guys say this. Don't listen to those dudes." No. You see, here's the thing is the guys who are in the red pill who actually have their shit together, the guys who actually have been, I don't even want to use this word, but the guys who are like the luminaries of the red pill. the guys who are the writers, the guys who've been the thinkers for a long time, and by long time I mean anywhere between 10 and 20 years, they cover their asses, dude. It's not just you have to, and I'm not coming at you, Ray. I'm just saying, like, when people, the reason why people want clarification on this is because you have to break down the statistics. Like, if one of the great things about Aaron Clary's The Book of Numbers is he broke all this stuff down into dollars and cents, and you can look at this like even by the way, if you didn't see the sort of mini rule zero we had on Friday, go watch that, because we had Aaron Clary, myself, John from Modern Life Dating, Mike Sartain was on there, Thor, Red Pill Thor, and Glenn Lawrence. Glenn was it was interesting because it was like we had such a balance of like sort of personalities, I guess, in this space. So you've got Glenn Lawrence, who is like more on the religious tip. And then you got, I mean, if you don't know who Red Pill Thor is, please go follow him. You got to know who Red Pill Thor is. Red Pill Thor is 60 years old. So he is older than I am. He's like the OG, right? I mean, by like a good 10 years or so. So he is the OG. So, but he has that perspective. Then you got Modern Life John. He got his, you guys know who Modern Life John is. Then you got Aaron Clary. It's almost like the old guys of the Red Pill, right? And except for maybe, I think Mike Sartain was the youngest. Well, no, I guess John would have been. But it was a really good sort of mixture of guys who were thinking about this stuff. And we're not sitting there trying to like sell a product. We're not trying to pontificate. We're not trying to get you to, behave in a certain way. We're just there doing analysis. And there was a point where Aaron Clary confronted, not confronted, but he sort of, I guess, corrected maybe Mike Sartain, because Mike has not read the Book of Numbers yet, but perhaps now he will. However, it was interesting to see how the statistics sort of break down. So if we think about things in terms of, for instance, let's just throw a quick one out here. This is the easiest one. What is it, like 33, a third of guys are getting no pussy. They're not getting laid. Like, we pulled that from the GSS studies from 2018. It is now 2023. So those are starting to look a little long in the tooth. So as that, keep that in mind. Now, more than likely, the sexlessness rate has gone up, but we can't say it has or it hasn't. So we kind of hedge our bets a little bit by just saying a third, right? And that's a conservative estimate. But to get to that estimate, you also have to look at other factors. What's happened in the last 10 years? What's happened in the last, from 2008 to 2018? What's happened? So you have to look at other variables that go along with that, because what will happen, and both the Manosphere guys and both the people who hate haters will find some anomaly. They'll find some detail. They'll fixate on one particular statistic and they'll stick with it, no matter what the methodology was, or without looking at who's doing the studying, without knowing who's doing the funding. I'm seeing this guy Alex from what is it, Date Psych or something like that. I look forward to the video, the interview that he's going to probably do with Chris Williamson, because Chris Williamson is a fanboy of this guy. My guess is this, I don't know who he is, but my guess is he's part of Peterson Academy, and they are looking for any and every way to sort of refute what they think the red pill ideology is. You guys fixate on these things. Well, we don't broadcast those statistics without having a good understanding of what they are. At least anybody worth their salt in this space does. So when it comes to the 90% of women with a bachelor's degree divorce, yes, they have a higher incidence, but they also have a higher incidence of marrying in the first place. So you have to, how does that affect the divorce rate? So if it's mostly like upper middle class, college educated women who are getting married in the first place, yes, that's going to skew the number. So keep that in mind when you're looking at numbers like that. Always connect dots, like look for other dots, even if it like confounds what you would hope it would be, right? Most people are going to have an implicit bias. It doesn't matter. When you're looking at those stats and you're going, ha, gotcha, bitch, here it is. What is it? I think Rolf just, I'll read it out today too. Rolf came up with maybe I already came over it, but was more or less like reaffirming the alpha fuck side of hypergamy with a study. And of course, it's like a checkmate moment, but you have to also, when I see those kinds of things, I have to sort of go, hey, I gotta look for, how can I How can I steel man this, and how can I straw man this? Because if you do that, you're going to be able to, I think, be better prepared when you have to like sort of defend that position. Rolo, you helped me in my life. Oh, thank you. 40. I was a fat schmuck. You fat fuck. You fucking fuck. Caught in a bad marriage. By 50, I was a different person in the best shape of my life and working on, living my best life. Thank you, man. Thank you for the accolades, man. That's more important to me. I want to see what you built. Show me the work. That should be should I put that on a shirt? Show me the work. Show me how you came to that conclusion. Brother Bardogas, bring me the power. Bring me the power fist. I need to back up the heresy. Cuck servants. Yeah. Oh, good. Hi, Moose. How are you? Moose, never change, Moose. Never change. I think I've got... you know what we should do? We should take bets as to how many accounts Moose will make in one show. Who wants the under? Let's say I'm going to go with 10. Who wants the under and who wants the over? Because I know, I absolutely know that Sam Bot is probably going to ban him a dozen times. Deal effectively with something difficult equals cope. Okay, we're going to talk about cope today. I got my notes over here. I've even got my tablet here today too, so I can pull stats while I'm on the fly here, which I've never done before, but I thought it might be a good idea since I'm in the hotel room here. Losers, winners, players, nerds, who cares? Not concerned about men doing foreign things as long as they don't destroy image. Got it. Thank you for your support. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have my soundboard, so I could go down to Marco. Read your pimp handbook. Start at pimp handbook. It's not a pimp handbook. I want to become a Machiavellian. I want to become Machiavellian myself. If you're saying you want to be Machiavellian, you don't get it. Halfway done with 48 Laws of Power. Good. Any advice? Dark Triad seems to be a big hook. Many thanks for your help. Reframed my mind. Okay, so if you're wanting to be Dark Triad, most likely you aren't. Remember, personality traits are just as genetic as anything else. Can you develop personality traits? Can you change? Yes, you can by conditioning yourself. So yeah, yes and no, but before I since you gave me $20 there, Davey, let me throw this up here really quick. I don't think enough people really. I think if we came back to this, there we go. 4 laws of behavioral genetics. I think Mike Sartain and I really need to do a breakdown of this. The next time he pops off with Dr. David Buss, I really want to sort of distill that down. I really want to do an expose, but I want to sort of challenge some of the ideas of Dr. David Buss, and people are going to go, "You're not a psychologist. You don't have a doctorate. Fuck you, Rolo." Yeah, but that doesn't mean I can't challenge ideas or I can't ask questions about ideas. And so I might get into just a little bit of that because I want to sort of give you a future forecast of what I would like to do as a dedicated, just standalone show between myself and Mike, because Mike and I disagree on a lot of stuff. And I think that's one of the great, strengths of Access Vegas. However, 4 laws of behavioral genetics is something that I think Mike probably should. I'll send this to you. Mike, if you're watching, I will send this to you. First law, all traits are partially heritable. Identical twins reared apart are more similar than fraternal twins reared apart, who are more similar than non-relatives reared apart. Okay, that wasn't one. Second law, in the shared environment. Third law, a lot of there you go. Sorry. Behavioral traits isn't attributable to either genes or a shared environment. And law 4, here it is. Most complex traits are shaped by many genes of small effect. So here, and this is important here. So there are no common genes that increase or decrease IQ by, say, intelligence quotient by, say, 5 points, but there are hundreds or even thousands of genes that increase or decrease IQ by a tiny fraction of a point. That right there is one of the reasons why there is a genetic component, a heritable component to personality. It's not that you can't overcome it. It's not that that can't be conditioned out of you. It can, but that's the point from which you're working. So bear that in mind when you say, "Oh, I want to be Machiavellian." Well, remember how we talk about the natural, the sort of the myth of the natural. It's very similar to that. There's guys who are naturally gifted by being very, very good looking, right? He still has to learn game. It comes more fluidly to him because he's rewarded for being good looking, by being ridiculously good looking by women. So his experience is going to be different than yours, and his game is going to be definitely different than yours. But he still has to figure shit out for himself. He's just ahead of you in the race. Same thing when it comes to, like, say, Machiavellianism or like changing your personality. You can do it. It's just a process, and most people simply don't have the proclivity or the patience, I guess, to do it. Oh man, is today just going to be question after question after question? I'm probably sure it will be. The Joker things, miscom. I'll give you half points for that. There are 3 men get women, don't want to put in the work, and want. Okay. The third isn't your audience. So you talk using binary terms. I do. I rarely talk in binary terms. Mentioning the third is just a distraction. Oh, you're describing that. Okay, got it. Thank you. There's a lot more than just 3 types of guys. Jordan Peterson had no business telling people how to dress. Have you guys seen the Joker suit, or the Two-Face suit? Where half of it's blue and half of it's like, I don't know, maroon or some shit. And you guys give me shit for wearing a beanie. Where the hell is the outrage? Where the hell are you? Where are you guys? Where are my guys who are, where are you guys? If you're going to give me crap about like wearing what I do or looking like I do, or if like, God forbid I do another chin strap. I started growing it in because Justin Waller told me, he said, hey man, maybe just do a little 5 o'clock, shadow, do a little stubble there. I did it and it looks good in the summer, but in the wintertime, I'm so fucking white that you can say I might as well not have it. So, but if I go back to the chin strap, which, and I see my good friend Jim in the chat here. He knows when I used to have the chin strap, when I lived in Orlando. I don't, for whatever reason, I don't know why people hate that so much. I used to get my hair cut by Puerto Ricans when I was living in Orlando, and I was like, yeah, give me that. I loved it. Why the hell? What's wrong with it? And you're going to give me grief for that, but you're not going to go after Jordan Peterson for looking like what? A Danny Elfman from Oingo Boingo, from the Oingo Boingo 80s years? Come on. Throw me a bone, please. Be equal opportunity haters. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I'll do my best to get to all of your super chats today. I'm not trying to file. We'll do a Q. I guess today is going to be kind of a Q&A thing today. I do have actually an outline for today. Earlier when you asked, this is Jim. Earlier when you asked, or is this Jim? No, maybe it's not. Earlier when you asked, who are they? Are you saying that they are us humans? Yes. Meaning there is no organized conspiracy, but they are just how humans naturally react and responding in groups. Yes. And one of the ways that they respond in groups is they organize. So is it a conspiracy? I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm saying everybody that you think is in that conspiracy is a human being. I'm pretty sure they all shit, they all fart, they all fuck, they all eat, probably too much. They're all human beings. They all remember, God, I hate to use metaphors. I know this is like totally the wrong place to do this, because I'm going to break the first law, the first maxim of the internet right now, or of social media. Never use a metaphor, never use an aphorism, never use hyperbole. Remember that part in The Matrix, the very first Matrix movie? So I'm trying to lean in here. I might have to like move around a little bit. The first Matrix movie where I think Neo is describing, or Morpheus is describing to Neo the nature of the Matrix itself, right? And at one point he says they're in the Matrix, but they're still beholden, they're still bound by the laws that are in the Matrix. Some can be broken, some can be, but some are immutable, I guess. And in a sense, that's kind of like, okay, well, you're a human being. If you read my 4th book, you'll know what I'm about to say, because this is in my 4th book. You're a human being. You're subject to gravity. You have to breathe. You have to eat. You have to shit. You have to fuck. You have to breed. You have to whatever. And then from there on, the Maslow's, hierarchy of needs, which I'm not a big fan of, but I recognize certainly the lower needs anyways. But those needs are defined by our condition here on planet Earth. So the guys that, if you want to say, I said Klaus Schwab. We're not German, we're Swiss. Is still a dude. He's still a human being. He's still like, you put the hot piece of ass in front of him, he'll still get a hard on. Well, maybe not now, but did in the past. He's still a human being. That's what I mean. So when people say, "Oh, it's the forces of dark. It's the forces of darkness. It's this big satanic cabal. They're all demons." No, they're people like you and me, and I think that should scare you more than demons. That should scare you more than magical thinking. That dude, as fucked up as that guy is still just like you and I, and the potential is still there in you too. And I think that's what really fucks people up. All right, Jesus. Okay, are we doing Q&A all day? Where do you think the next generation of kids will come from? Single mother homes? Yes, they already are. Congratulations. You discovered something already be generated right now. Guys like Nick Cannon have huge swaths of kids, swathes, depending on what country you're from. Return to monogamy, or just a mix of these three. Star this. We'll be coming back to it today. I'm going to give you your answer in a very long form. Oh man, damn! Thank you for that $100 super chat. Is autism part of personality traits? It defines personality traits. It's certainly a factor in those personality traits. I think you need to separate the one from the other. Clinical autism is a genetic problem, or whatever condition, let's just say. So does that affect personality traits? Yeah, it does, but it's a factor in that personality trait, by my understanding anyways. I'm good at personality because that's actually most my field of focus when I was getting my psychology degree. However, autism is out of my wheelhouse. I only know the nuts and bolts of it as far as the genetics components and everything else. So I am in no way a clinical psychologist, and I am in no way any kind of authority. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not an authority on that. However, I do know the function. I do know how one affects the other. So who's most likely to give it to the offspring, mom or dad? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Somebody will tell me. And I'm not afraid to say I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'll find out and I'll tell you on the next show, brother. Because it's important. It's important to know this. Remember I told you about how we have to sort of like question our own shit? That's part of it. We just did it right there. All right, there's number 2. Okay, so we're into 2. I said 10. Becoming a passport bro was the best thing that ever happened to me. Okay, good. We're going to go with that here in just a second. I don't touch American women anymore, and better for it. True MGTOW is passport bro. Is it? Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Fucking MGTOW dudes, man. Sup, Rolo? No question. Just appreciate research. Thank you. I have been able to make some positive changes in my life thanks to it. Thank you very much for that. Passport bros, welcome. Haters, welcome today too, by the way. Professor Tomasi. Let's see. Irrelevant question. Irrelevant answer. Do you have any essays, videos, sources, etc., where you go into detail about appeals to emotion? Oh, yes. I'd like to learn more about it. Okay. Alpha K, email me at, you can find my email and my contact information. Email me this super chat and I will give you links. That's probably the best thing to do. Let's see. Thank you. Although I do understand, I hate the fact that it's my genetic destiny. It is not your genetic destiny. Unless, well, okay. Well, you want to talk about genes? We'll talk about genes. Okay. Because a lot of guys want to use genetics as sort of their cope, right? Their limitations. You know what? I'm not going to star that, but I will tell you this. When I get to the cope part today, you're going to want to listen. Let's see. Speed freak. Dude, if you have a motorcycle, don't you know that red ones go faster? A few years ago, I broke up with an ex. Thank you for $100, my friend. I do have Don DeMarco somewhere. Was very depressed and was thinking about doing something stupid. Now I am the best shape of my life. Excellent. 6-pack abs, own my own business, make $400,000 a year. Very good. And laughed when I found out my ex is banging my best friend. Thank you very much. And do I have that somewhere? There it is. Oh, hot damn. There you go. God damn it, here. Sorry, I have to do this by hand. Thank you for that. What the fuck? Again? The alpha Rolo has been doing 3.5. Yeah, thank you. Well, I've been doing. Well, yeah, I guess I have been. Has it been that long? I only started doing 5-hour streams like in the last few months, though. In my defense, I was fortunate enough to get red pilled in '99. Oh, really? Working as a bouncer in New York City. Rolo, your books made us realize we were crazy. Good. Your hood pass in Brooklyn remains active. Good, because I will need it there now. How about my hood pass for Medellin? The boys, Fresh and Fit, are going off to Colombia, starting Tuesday, I believe. Right immediately after the show, I'm going to go see Icy. She is the girl. She's the girl getter. She's the getter girl. She's the girl that schedules and helps the guys on Fresh and Fit. She is in Vegas, and Big Mo is flying in. Unfortunately, he'll be here Tuesday because he has to do a very important show on Fresh and Fit, and then he'll be here on Tuesday. I'm hoping I can see him at least just when he gets off the plane and hang out with him, have dinner with him or something. Well, have salad with Big Mo on Tuesday. So if I don't do a live stream with Big Mo, I will definitely do an Instagram with him. Thoughts on Alex from Date Psych? I just mentioned his name. Is he blue pill? Yes. Is he coping? Yes. Is he? We'll get to that later. I remember him saying the red pill is somewhat valid, but mainly just because it bashes women. No. Let me explain to you. I'll give you my breakdown on Alex when we get to the cope part of today's show, because he's included. Thanks for showing my reel of course, man. Always. You're welcome. It's complicated. And I will be on your show at some point. Kate, wait, stop. Klaus is demonically depressed, if not demonically influenced. What some call coincidence, I call providence. It's demonic. Not a Christian. Just picked up your book. Thank you. On audio and paperback to continue my journey being an Orlando local that found Corey Wayne. Great. Yeah. Well, you're going to have to transition out of that. Was around here somewhere. Thoughts on how to be a 3% man book. Corey Wayne has most definitely jumped the shark. That's my take on that. And let's see. I never really even. People always ask me about Corey Wayne stuff, and I looked at it. I'm going, I don't have anything to say bad against it. It was just kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like remedial, like you're going back to the 101s. Thanks for answering. No, Jim. I agree and have said that given the correct circumstances, anyone is capable of anything. Yes. Horrors beyond comprehension. Demons are the creation of human minds. Yes. Demons are what we call it demons are a cope, are definitely a cope. Hey, Rolo, does spinning plates get easier as a guy gets more mature and closer to his SMV rather than a younger guy who is still developing? Yes and no. It depends on I would say it depends on the phase of maturity that the women are in when you're spinning them as plates. And I really should probably do a full dedicated plates. Like, I even hate calling it plate spinning anymore because people think that it sounds cute. Hey, he believes in plate spinning. That's his ideology. He thinks you should fuck anything on 2 legs. Don't listen to Rolo. Hey, he hasn't fucked a new woman in 25 years or whatever the fuck, right? No, it's about dating non-exclusively, and there's a lot of different reasons why you should. However, younger men, the means and the methodology is different than, say, the guy who's older. For instance, a guy who's older and has more money and is more made is just by being older expected. Like there's a subconscious expectation that a guy who is 40, 50 years old should know more and should be more accomplished and should have his shit together more. Should. I'm not saying does. I'm saying should have his shit together. This is what women like. This is a natural presumption amongst women, is that a guy who's older ought to have made the most of his potential by that age. He better have all that shit together. You want to know why women get really upset when a guy like Leonardo DiCaprio allegedly dates a 19-year-old girl? That's the new one, by the way. 19. Leo, what is he? 47? 19. The reason why women get really bent out of shape because of that is because he's made, or a guy who is in that, say, category. He's got status, he's got money, he's got fame, he's got, and by order of degree. The congruent idea is that a guy who is like that at that age, who is out, is let's say extroverted and lives a certain lifestyle, he should be paid. He should be better off. He should be a better judge of character. He should be more mature. He should be able to employ things like amuse mastery or agree and amplify or command presence just as a natural form of like game, because that's who the guy is. So you get bent out of shape about a guy who is, like Leonardo DiCaprio is knocking it out with a 19-year-old hottie. They get pissed off because they don't think, like, she's got more time than the girl who's 35 who says, oh, you're just the cope for that chick, for the 35-year-old chick who's upset that Leonardo DiCaprio is not with an age appropriate woman. And by the way, that only goes one way, ladies. Double standard, you got them. That only goes one way, because when we see mature women banging younger guys, which we will today on this week's episode of MILF Island, we make shows about that. We laugh about that. Hell, commercial, like businesses, commercials will spend millions of dollars in advertising on the opposite of that. But if Leonardo DiCaprio is nailing a 19-year-old girl, that's inappropriate. He must have problems. He must be very insecure in his masculinity. He must need validation. He must blah, 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 blah. No, the fact is he's Leonardo DiCaprio, and he knows that he is Leonardo DiCaprio. And it goes back to what I wrote about in my first book, which is, there's a chapter in there, and it's called The Threat. And it leads off with this, is there is nothing more threatening yet simultaneously arousing to women than a man who understands his own value to women. So when a guy is obviously, provably, blatantly in your face, a high value guy, he's the guy that there is no question that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. That guy is more threatening to women and womankind than the guy who's like that guy that was in the video I just put up, where he's like, oh, I'm sorry those men hurt you. I'm here for you. I love you unconditionally. That guy is worthless compared to the guy who knows that he's a high value guy, and he knows that he's a high value guy. You want to know why Justin Waller is so bloody attractive and so bloody arousing to women? Is because he knows it and he lives it. My man gets numbers just tossed on a desk or tossed on a restaurant table. He doesn't have to try, because he knows that he manifests those behaviors naturally. So when you are spinning plates, and by spinning plates, I mean dating non-exclusively. You don't have to fuck every girl. You can be dating, and you look at the prospects and possibilities. It's like a buffet. Okay. When you're doing so, understand that at different phases of maturity, women are going to prioritize things a whole lot differently. So like I said, when a woman's 35, a guy who's 50 is going to look like a big fish. And God forbid that guy who's 50 goes after a 25-year-old. And she's got to find ways to rationalize that and downplay it and explain it to herself, explain it to her ego, because she can't be wrong. So he has to be wrong. But the fact is he's a high value guy, and it's threatening to women who know that at 35, 38, whatever, when they're on the exit of the sexual market, firmly on the highway exit from the sexual marketplace, if the guy's going after a 25-year-old, you've got to find ways to cope with that. Well, how do we cope with that? We create social conventions that explain it away so our egos don't get hurt. That's why. It's also, by the way, where midlife crisis come from. Hey, what's up, Paul? Oh, Paul, here, come defend me, Paul. Come defend me from Joker crew. The tears of Dr. Phil are in here. Red Pill Thor gave that to me yesterday. MGTOW guys have all the different definitions of MGTOW, but most are none. Most of, or almost none of them, are actually going their own way. Well, I disagree. And, you know, let me just address that right now. I'll tell you why I disagree, Paul. And not because I think you're wrong. It's just, I just think that they are going their own way, but so are you. And so am I. Anybody who is red pill aware, anyone who has like sort of taken the red pill, and you understand the nature of women and you understand the nature of men, and you have some sort of grasp, even just the most rudimentary grasp of intersexual dynamics in the 21st century, you can't help but go your own way. I've gone my own. Technically, I'm a MGTOW. Technically, I've gone my own way. I'm married, I have a kid and everything. I love being surrounded by beautiful women. Don't get me wrong, but by that definition, I'm a MGTOW. Right? Going my own way. I'm certainly not going the way of Grant Cardone or Brad Leah or whoever else is telling, or I forget the other guy's name, who's saying, you know, you only got to get with one woman and be passionate about her. And then let me try to qualify and cope. And we'll come back to that, because we need to qualify what cope is before we start talking about passport bros, before we start talking about women who are sexual tourists themselves. That is also cope. What is cope? That's really kind of going to be the theme today. But when we're talking about MGTOW going your own way, you can't, if you're red pill aware, if you've read my book, you're going your own way. You can't help it. Once you put the red pill lens on, you don't take it off. You can try. You can be like Cypher, plug me back into the matrix, make me someone important. Do you notice, during that scene, that was the most natural thing in the world, is like when, and God forbid, if you haven't watched The Matrix, go watch it, at least so you have like some sort of frame of reference for these stupid metaphors. But when Cypher wanted to get put back into the Matrix, what was his first request? Make me someone important. Because in this fucked up real world, I'm nobody. That's what was most important to him, you know. But the thing is let's just say, for sake of argument, because this is sort of like fulfills the MGTOW thing here, and also the cope side of things. If you look at it from the perspective of, let's just say Cypher gets plugged back in the Matrix, and the, I don't know, Smith agents or whatever don't kill him on sight, right? He still has to have the knowledge that everything, like the steak he's eating and the whole world that he's in, he still has the knowledge that everything is not real. So even if he's like nailing a hottie after hottie after hottie, and he's important, he's famous, he's rich, blah, blah, he's living this wonderful ideal life, right? The top Jesus and top G of the Matrix, right? You still have to live with the fact that you got the red pill lens on, and you have the knowledge that this is all bullshit. It's like living in it's like being a lucid dream, where you know you're dreaming, but you can control the dream, right? But you still know you're dreaming. Sorry, that is the connection here, just so you know. What else? My bad. The connection's a little bit weird today. Sorry about that. Got a hot bartender flowers. Dude, after 2 good interactions with her, she's since blocked me from getting in. We all have to learn some way, my friend Matthias. I think she's catching feels. How do I proceed? I think she's catching feels for you. I don't think she's catching it. She's blocked you since she blocked me from getting in. Okay. She's since blocked. Why are you worried about that? Okay. First of all, here's how you fucked up. Never buy women flowers. Never buy women presents. Never buy them gifts. Never give them compliments. Never give them a fucking birthday card. You do not give women anything, any form of gift. And by the way, I count compliments in that as well, with a caveat of, and here's the part they'll cut out of this clip, right? Never give women gifts. Gifts are reinforcers. Gifts are rewards. Now, why do I say that? Well, it's a reinforcer. I look at it from a behavioral psychology perspective. It's like operant conditioning, right? You reward and reinforce desired behavior. So if the desired behavior is getting a date, you know, making out with her, maybe even having sex, maybe get a good blowjob or something like that, then that's when flowers suddenly show up on her desk at work. That's what it is there has to be sort of like that association of behavior and reward. And people say, oh, that's game playing, roll. But you know what? You do it anyways, because here's what most guys do when they buy when they buy flowers or just like sort of out of the blue, I just felt like giving you a gift. Women see that as an obligation. Oh, he gave me a gift. That's what her obligation in this sense was, to block you, because she doesn't want to, she wouldn't want you to be like, she wants you to get the wrong idea. Oh, he's getting the wrong idea. I'm going to block him. He gave me flowers. That was it. He's getting serious. He thinks I am more, my interest level is higher than it actually is. That's number one. Also, so why don't you give women just flowers out of the blue? That's why. The other thing is this, is you don't give compliments. You don't give gifts unless there is a pre-established relationship between you and that girl already. Simple as that. Because anything of value, if it is too easily had, it lowers in value. And that should be a maxim. Actually, I think I'm writing a book of maxims right now, and I probably will throw that one in. But I think it's the 2/3 rule is what Royce used to call it. I'll see if I can dig that up and read that for you. But it's not to be a dick. It's not to be a curmudgeon. It's not to be a stingy bastard. It is for desired behavior. Now, here's why you do it. The reason why guys do this, usually when guys buy flowers, it's because they fucked up. It's because, oh, she got the wrong idea, or I fucked up something, or I did something. I did something bad, and to make up for it, you get a card, you get jewelry, you get maybe candy, but you get tequila, maybe, I don't know. You get flowers. Whenever flowers show up, and God, I'm right. If you work in an office environment and flowers show up and it ain't Valentine's Day and it's not her birthday, that dude fucked up. That's the first thing you think of. Maybe not. It doesn't even matter, but that's the first thing that comes to your head. That's why you don't give flowers and gifts just surreptitiously. Rollo's a game player. It's all manipulation. Vegas Esquire. Hey, man, I only heard about MGTOW a few years ago. You must be new here. I have always lived by my own rules, but I never went anywhere. Excuse me. All relationships begin with a power struggle. I lay down the rules early. Okay, good. Thank you for that, Vegas. If I had a better sound drop, I'd give it to you. Yes. I don't know if you guys caught this on the show that I did with, it was on Rule Zero, on not this, the one I did with John, and the most recent one that I did here in Vegas. It was on Friday, by the way. I mentioned this. I said, when I was on the Dr. Phil podcast, which, by the way, was one of the final episodes of the entire show, he has decided that he's going to quit, and that's why this was a joke gift. Thank you very much, Thor. But during that show, when Imran Ahmed, the guy who was all sourpuss, right, coming at me, I'm kind of glad I'm almost hoping they don't release the second one, because it's just like, I hope that stays fresh in people's minds. But at one point during the show, he was just kind of like, it's all about power to you, Rollo. And there we go. Sorry, guys. I have to go through Wi-Fi here, so I can't hardline in like I usually do at my studio. So there might be a little blackouts here and there. Sorry, guys. That's the Wi-Fi here in this room. Anyways, getting back to it. When I was on the Dr. Phil show, I was confronted by Imran Ahmed. I don't know how much that you guys lost. Sorry, but I was confronted by Imran Ahmed. Sorry, no, I got you. Hang on. And during that conversation, he was saying, it's all about power to you, Rollo. I go, yes, it is. That's welcome to planet Earth. Go read the 48 Laws of Power. You'll be better off for it, my friend. Go check it out. And there's sort of this. I think there's like when he first came at me with that, like, it's all about power to you, Rollo. It's like my first impulse was kind of like, well, I don't want to be all about power. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. I do want to be all like, fuck you. My innate second nature kicks in, and I'm like, I was like, yes, it is all about power. That's what this is. The reason you're on this show in the first place is because you have aspirations of status. Status requires power, asshat. So yes, it is all about power. It's all about power dynamics, human interactions. And it doesn't have to be power. He's going to crush me like a it doesn't have to be tyrannical. If you have ever read the 48 Laws of Power, and that would be at the top of my reading list today. In fact, maybe I'll give you a reading list today. That the number one, or I should say this, the 49th law of power is always downplay the importance of power. Always, if you don't want people to be powerful and you want to be on top of your game, demonize power. Demonize even learning about power. Because if you do that, you eliminate your competition. So, yes, it is. I acknowledge power. You see? I believe he's correct. Oh, this is Myron. Believes he's correct when he says a man's thirst for variety of women, even when he's in a relationship. Do you agree? No, but I will. Yeah. Well, okay. So thirst is another one of those words. Like, okay, it's thirst. He's dying. He's like, I tell you what's funny is the same guys who use the term thirst are the same guys who will throw turds at me for saying that you need sex. Sex is a need. It's not a want. It's not a, well, you wouldn't die if you didn't have sex. No, but you wouldn't reproduce. So you're as good as dead. From an evolutionary perspective, from a DNA perspective, if you're not promulgating, if you're not like passing on your DNA to the next generation, you're as good as dead. You're as good as extinct. So yes, you will die. Your genetics, your DNA will die out if you don't have sex. So yes, sex, I'm adamant about this. Sex is a human need. It should be on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It should be like down there with food, oxygen, and gravity, whatever else, water. Right? The same people who tell me that you don't actually need sex, you wouldn't actually die if you didn't have it. There's the same guys that will talk about who will say exactly this: thirst for women. Well, if it wasn't a need, but water is a need. What's the reaction when you don't have enough water? You're thirsty. So therefore sex is a need, right? It's a thirst. You're just, I have more self-control. I read Marcus Aurelius. No, you don't. So again, but getting back to your point, yeah, he's correct, but remember the context though. Okay. So when he says a thirst for variety of women, when he's in a relationship. Yes, that's because you want to know why that exists, because men's innate mating strategy is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. If men did not have any hindrances, if status didn't matter, if money didn't matter, if looks didn't matter, if forget the comedian said, like, if women would fuck in a cardboard box, men would never buy a house, right? That it wasn't Steve Harvey. Who the fuck was that? I forget who it was. Anyways, I'm trying to attribute. I'm blocking. Yeah. So yes, men want variety, but remember what? Okay, but when you talk about variety, why do they want variety? Right? Why would that even be the state? Like, it seems obvious. Like, well, of course we do. So what guys do is their cope is pornography or online pornography. That's the reason why porn is free streaming, 4K. 3D. We probably have we probably already have virtual reality porn. We will find any new technology, by the way, and we're already doing this with AI. Any new technology will first be purposed for getting you off. Photography. Hell, you can even go back to like the classical painters of the Renaissance period, or like even Greco-Roman statuary and stuff like that. People want to see naked bodies. People want to see people fucking, no matter what. Everybody wants some. Thank you, David Lee Roth. Everybody wants some. And so if it becomes easier to get some with photography, that's what we'll use it for. If it becomes easier to get some by creating Hustler and Playboy, we'll print it. If it becomes easier to get some by, VHS or beta, well, somebody told me this. I don't know if this is true, but I'm just going to spout this off. Allegedly, the reason why Betamax tapes, like videotapes, were killed off by VHS is because VHS had more porn. You could get it more available on porn, and so therefore VHS is what killed off beta. Beta was actually a higher quality format. But the porn industry adopted VHS, and the rest is history. And then you've got, of course, after that, you got the internet, and here we are. So yeah, everybody wants some, and that's as a result of men's innate sex drive, our unlimited access to unlimited sexuality, which is exactly what online pornography delivers. So, do I agree with that? Yes, because even guys in, what is it, 68% of Christian men have self-reported, by the way, and this is embarrassing too, right? I mean, they're self-reporting this, that 68%, this is by my last numbers, it might be higher now. I think I got these from like 2019. 68% of Christian men have reported being addicted to pornography. Why? Unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. That's what it provides. Even if it's vicarious, that's all that matters. So, how can you cope with it being married? Well, I'll tell you how other guys cope with it being married. They jerk off. That's what they do. That's how you get porn addictions. That's how you get OnlyFans addiction, which is, by the way, is the next escalation in that. Remember what I said about any new technology. So what are they doing right now? Chat GPT. Give me some big booby Asians in bikinis and make them look like Sailor Moon and like you whatever. Like what kind of sky's the limit, man? Chat GPT is going to come up with it. Just don't look at the hands because they got like 8 fingers. That's any new technology will be purposed for pornography before it's purposed for anything else. Trust me on that, or to get off. So virtual reality, high def. By the way, high def. Like I remember when 4K was a big deal. Now it's like 6K or 10K or 8K, whatever it is. I remember when 4K first came out, and people were like, "Imagine what like booties are going to look like on Pornhub." and you know, I think that just even if people don't vocalize it, that's the first natural thought. Right? How can we make this easier? How can we jerk one out? How can we rub one out easier? So, and I know that sounds like vulgar, and I know that sounds like, oh, Rollo's being gross and crass. Well, yeah, but sometimes you got to like just cut the veneer off of all of this stuff so that you can get down to nuts and bolts. So how do you cope with it being married? How do I cope with it being married? My wife fucks me all the time. And vigorously too, especially these days. When you are looking at infidelity versus natural impulse, can people diet and lose weight? Mm-hmm. They can say, you know what, I'm not going to eat those things. Can a guy be an alcoholic and have by the way, a genetic thing, can he have a taste for liquor and then one day stop dead cold turkey? They do all the time. But does that mean he's a blue pill cuck because he's not obeying his natural impulses? No, it's only in the instance of like variety of sex that we go, well, if you're not fucking a bunch of bitches, then you must be blue pill, right? But we don't say, well, you stopped drinking, so you must be blue pill. You got thinner, you got yourself together because your natural propensity to overeat. But you look great, man. Look at you. You're in the gym every day. You're busting your ass. You're on trend, right? Right, whatever. Like you've reconditioned yourself to say, you know what? That's not for me. We respect that. But if the dude is in a marriage, and again, after having maybe, played the field and spun plates for a while, you don't know what his situation is. But for instance, if you found out tomorrow that I had a string of porn stars that I was like, I'm suddenly I become Tiger Woods, right? I have a string of porn stars and I'm really not loyal to my wife. What would your impression be of me? If that were true? It's not, but if that were true, turn into Tiger Woods tomorrow, would you go, bravo, man, he's the top G? Or would you say, man, he fucked up, man, I can't believe he's like that. I can't believe he would say that. I can't believe he would hide that. I can't believe he would follow the path of Tiger Woods, right? Or would you have respect for me? Would you be like, oh, well, a high value man, sometimes he's got to cheat? Which way would it go? Because again, it's the context, and it's really what are you going to do with your life? How do you want to live? For instance, I played this. Let me see if I can go grab that again, because I actually kicked it out of the queue here. But this dude, where'd he go? Not Brad Lea. He's kind of like a bad example of this, but we don't have respect for guys. Why is it that there's a certain branch of guy? Oh, this guy, here it is. This is good. We'll put this back in real quick.
With my army buddies to essentially say, oh, you got married. You You don't have any experience. And we all know what they meant by experience. Finally, one day I just got tired of this. I looked back, I said, let me clarify something for you, dude. When you talk about experience, here's what that means for you. You have a lot of essentially insignificant trysts with women you didn't care about and who didn't care about you.
Right.
Okay. This is the cope that I expect from a guy who doesn't fuck. Period. End of story. When we break down, I'm glad you brought this question up. This wasn't even a super chat. When we talk about high value men should cheat or can cheat, those are two different things. This is the guy very much like Hafiz. Oh, he's licking the ice cream. And in case you don't know what licking the ice cream means, it means that women are like flavors of ice cream and I don't know, Baskin Robbins, like 31 flavors, right? And men get to go into the ice cream store and they can have some ice cream, right? There's certain elite men, definitely elite men, who get to go into the pussy store, pussy's ice cream store. And his primary complaint was that guys would go in there and they would lick the ice, all flavors of the ice cream, and then they grab one maybe, or they don't end and they just leave, right? So when you get to go into the ice cream store, everything's already licked. It's all spoiled. All of these ice creams are like whatever the licks on the ice cream, right? Because the dude that came in before you, you don't want to lick, you don't want to eat pre-licked ice cream, right? Which is amazing to me because that analogy came from Hafiz. And yet the same guy who talks about that will also talk about like forgiving women for their pasts and everything. I showed you some of these here too. But there's no way you can't not blame men for anything. It takes two to tango. I mean, when people are having sex, there has to, consensually having sex, there has to be, there has to be two willing participants in that. So it's not like an ice cream store. But this guy right here, and I don't even know the dude's name. Somebody's going to come up with it. This is the cope that I expect from guys who are in the 80%. The guys that didn't get pussy. The guys whose sexual, like their notch count is in the single digits, if that. And so as a result, just like, now remember what I just said a moment ago about the woman who's 35 years old and she has to find some sort of rationalization, some sort of social convention to rationalize for herself why it is that Leonardo DiCaprio gets to fuck a 19-year-old girl and not her. And doesn't settle down. I'm so much more mature. I can have. What do they talk about? That was the one thing they said in the tweets. What do they talk about? Anything. Then does it matter? At that point, does it make any difference? Who cares? He's not with a 19-year-old girl because he's there because he wants to wife her up. He's not there for because she's gonna teach him the finer points of astrophysics. I mean, and of course it's meant to say, well, he just wants to fuck her. Like me just even saying that means that she just wants to fuck her. But that's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the machine. So does a guy who has 40 notch count as opposed to 1,500 notch count, does a guy who has 40 notch count, does he have more status? Is he a better guy, a better man because he's had 40 prior partners? Or is the guy who has 12 better? Is the guy who has had one like this guy, but you're very passionate about it and you guys just have meaningless sex and it's all these meaningless trysts. The meaningless part is first of all, it's very ambiguous. It's very esoteric. It's very abstract, right? Because what's meaning? What do you mean by meaning? I've had sex 40 with 40, right now I can boost my notch count up. Did you know that? Because according to the CDC, getting a hummer is actually a sex act. And so therefore it counts as a partner. So mine's gone up considerably since I did not know that when I was thinking about my notch, like way back in the day when I was like very upfront, when the Pat Campbell days, when I was very upfront with my notch count, I wasn't counting just getting a hummer. I mean, if that's the case, man, I would have to really go back in my brain to 21, 22 in the Hollywood metal scene. I'm going to have to think about that. But if I've got a 40 notch count for most, when I was on Pat Campbell and I revealed that I had a 40 notch count, the whole staff at the radio station in Oklahoma and in Tulsa, Oklahoma were like, They were aghast. I was a man whore. You got 40. Like I was like, and I didn't, because for the longest time, like people say, oh man, those are rookie numbers. You can get those numbers up, right? You gotta get those numbers up. I'm like, I'm a man whore in Tulsa, but if I go to Los Angeles or Vegas, I'm a choir boy. So, so where does it? How do you rate that? Anyways, the way he rates that is that if you're not just sticking with one chick for you meet this girl as your high school sweetheart, and if you're not taking her and doing everything on planet Earth to make her life more comfortable, more easy, you are a servant leader, right? Then anything else, any alternative to that is meaningless. That's really what it's saying.
So the exponential relevance of that is the equivalent of you having a bunch of GEDs.
Did you catch that? Hold on.
And don't care about.
I love that. Experiential is what he was trying to say. Experiential relevance. Experiential relevance, really? So we're getting pretty fucking cosmic here, brother. It's fun, dude. You're having sex. You didn't kill somebody. All right, you didn't kill anybody. Okay. You didn't like, discover God, dude. You're having sex like everybody who came before you. But that's the mentality I'm talking about. That's the 80%ers talk like this. And by 80%ers, I mean the beta male guys who don't get laid. But when an 80%er, when a blue pill guy does finally get laid and he sticks to his guns, and fuck yeah, I found the one. Dude, the fucking Red Sea parts. And the Hebrews go through and they to the promised land, man. And lights shine down. And the angels sing. Finally, a woman touched my dick. And so that's an experiential that's relevant to a guy like that, for sure. So therefore, anything that's not that is incomparable. Incomparable. And so there's two reasons for this. The first reason is because guys, the part of the cope again is to sort of, well, it's like Royce would have called it like a salve for your ego, which it is, but it's also it's an explanation. It has to explain why some guys can go into the ice cream store and lick all the ice cream, and he can't. And then when he gets into the ice cream store, he gets that one other bitch, this girl right here. He gets this girl when he goes in the ice cream store.
Have you had any relationships that were like horrible or that were absolutely stand out? I mean, have you had one that like really stands out, kind of like what I explained?
So long ago, but my first relationship ever, I was
Okay, this guy, remember, this guy is the last dude in the ice cream store.
very young, was so toxic. I mean, I was literally told, like, you are not worthy of love. Like, you're lucky that I even like you.
I'm sorry.
You know, when you're so in it, you just believe it because you're like, this person who I really care for is telling me this, I believe them. And he burned me with a cigarette.
You? Jesus, like that's horrible.
Said, if you love me, you'll let me burn you with a cigarette. I was like, okay.
So when she was in the ice cream store, one of those dudes didn't just lick the ice cream. He actually put out his cigarette in the ice cream.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. It's a constant.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's just a constant reminder that the past is there, and he just made me feel like I was so not worthy of love. And then I never wanted a relationship because I was so sick of pretending. I know now that I'm...
No, she wanted a relationship. She just couldn't get it at her weight anymore. Sorry, not sorry. It's obvious.
But sure. I was once a different person, and now I am changed for the better. So
this is the voice, by the way. Let me just stop here because you get the idea. All right. Be back in. This is the voice. Her voice is the voice of the epiphany phase. You've heard her. She mouthed off quite a bit of stuff that I've talked about in the past, where it's like, I wanted to get right with God. I wanted to. That was the old Nicole. What was her name? Old Nicole. Not me. Like she's on the beach and she's with this guy, but I forget the name of the. Is it? Where did this come from? Clytus, remind me. There's so many of these fucking shows. I can't even keep track of them. But she's used goods. She's yellowed pearl. She knows she's a yellowed pearl, but we're supposed to have sympathy for her. You made decisions. You made decisions to go back to the guy that put out a cigarette on you. How many times do you think that she still pines for that guy? I don't know. The fact that I can ask that question, or I would think to ask that question, should speak volumes to you. Let me see. Going down. Thank you, Big John, for that. I'm tracking super chats right now, so give me a quick second here. Like doing this in a hotel room is a new experience. Thank you, Rolo. That is all. That is all. Let's see what you got here. What do you got? What do you got? What? Rolo's the father I never had. Thank you. If reincarnation was real, I choose to be born as Rolo's biological son. I don't think you would really want that. I really don't. I would not be. Maybe I'd be. I'm a good father to a daughter. I don't know how I would be father to a son. I have one daughter, and I have 1,000 sons. Pre-Orthodox Roosh wrote a lot about geomaxing. Of course he did. Wrote a lot about geomaxing. You mean like every book he wrote? Like every single lay guide? Yeah, he wrote a lot about geomaxing. That's putting it lightly. His old essays about women being like water taking shape and of the container it's in is a good one. Yes, it is. And I really wish he still had, you know what? And those are no longer, you could probably find the archives of them like Wayback Machine. But yeah, he was definitely big into geomaxing because it was like bang Poland, bang Denmark, bang, I don't know, Kenya. I don't know where the fuck else he went. Yeah, most definitely. He was the premier expert, at least during like the early 2000s of geomaxing. That's pretty good. What did you say? Oh, I'll answer this real quick. The revised edition that I've been promising you for a very long time will be this year. Most definitely. I'm going to release a hardback version of it because it is the 10th. This year is the 10th anniversary of the first book. So I decided I was going to hold off on I was thinking, should I do a second edition, then release it, and then release a hardback for the 10th anniversary? I'm like, yeah, just make them coincide with the other. So yes, it's coming out this year. The hardback is actually, the layout's already done. I just have to finish the editing on it because I want to make sure that the type is right and the spacing is right and syntax and spelling. It's got spelling errors up the yin yang. I know. Point taken. But and again, the type size, I'll boost it up probably to like 12 or 13 Castle on. Red Brick. Thanks for your help. Started to listening to you beginning of last year and now going to be getting married this summer. And now help other guys change my life. Back on Dios, brother, man. Let's see. Neposite. Hi, Rolo. This is the Casey Anthony case related to hypergamy? Yes. She got rid of her baby, went literally, well, allegedly, to kill to party. I did a whole episode on this. You did see that episode, right? I did. Like it was about November of last year, of 2021. The infamous one that everybody loves so much but loves to hate, the one with Michaela Peterson on the cover, because his friend told her he would not marry a single mom. Got Bella Vita tattoo. Jesus Christ! My best suggestion to you is go watch that episode. I have 2 dedicated episodes. It's called Kill the Party. Go look at it. And yes, Kill the Party is the epitome of hypergamy. Just so you know. And Moose, how many does he have now? What's the tally on Moose? What's the tally on Moose's recreated accounts? Because I said 10. You guys got to give me the under over here. No, Moose. As it stands right now, according to the CDC, I have over 50 body count. Because I can at least think of about 11 girls that gave me blowjobs back in the day. I could even think about in my like high school, like my teenage years, man. If that counts, fucking hey, it's game on. I'm much more of a man whore today as a result of the CDC changing the official rulings. What are some actionable steps to sustain maximum attractiveness from a girl in an LTR while being exclusive? Good question. Assuming the guy's near future goal is marriage. Okay. Your future goal should never be marriage. Never. marriage should be an inevitability for you. I know, track with me here. If that, okay, long-term relationship should be an inevitability for you. It should seem like the most natural thing in the fucking world. That's where you have to get to. So when guys like this one dude is talking to you about like, you're just having meaningless sex. You're letting the little head think for the big head. I would never do that because I'm a high value dude. Yeah, you're a high value dude with zero experience in the sexual marketplace and have no business talking about it. You want to know why I have a problem with like Jordan Peterson talking about, oh, if she's not picking you, it's because they're right. You're wrong. You know why I have a problem with that? Because he's only ever fucked one girl. He's only ever been with one chick, or he has said in the past anyways, that he's only ever been or only ever wanted to get with his wife, who, by the way, was living with another dude at the time that he was I think he came up with like 2 or 3 different proposals of marriage. I saw those episodes. I tracked through them. I didn't want to hit on this because I didn't want people to say, oh, you must want to, why do you hate the Peterson so much? Well, Jordan Peterson has no business giving anyone advice about marriage, at least from an experiential perspective. I mean, maybe from a clinical perspective, he can like speak in, from a book knowledge. Okay. But from a experienced perspective, he's got no business being in the section or being giving anyone advice or talking about marriage or the sexual marketplace at all. And that's, I will die on that fucking hill, because when you go and you look at the interviews that Michaela did of Tammy, his wife, is her mom, and Jordan, and then like the ones she's done since then, and you look at the videos where he's explaining how when he was 7 years old, he was like, he told his dad, I'm going to marry her. I'm going to marry Tammy. He's known her since he was 7 years old. Put out 3 proposals for marriage, according to Tammy. I'm just reporting the news here. Was living with another guy, was cohabiting with a dude while she was in college for about 2 years. That fell apart. And then suddenly that's when she wanted to marry Jordan. You connect the dots, man. I just fucking work here. But if that's the frame of reference from Jordan Peterson when he talks about marriage and like how to, well, they're right, you're wrong. Get the fuck out of here. You have no freaking background in any of this shit. And I know this right now, and I will also address this right here now, because this is the first thing out of fucking Joker's mouth when he was giving me shit about like just agreeing with Paul from Come On My Podcast, man. All I said is somebody had to say it. I agreed. But the first line of attack that people always come at me with, and a lot of people do it, not just Joker, but it's like, well, Rolo's been married for 26 and a half years. He doesn't have any experience in the sexual marketplace. He doesn't know what's going on out here. I'm like, dude, I've made it my business to know about this stuff, be in the clubs, take notes, get a degree in this shit. You just simply don't know what my experience is in the past. You don't know what my experience is right now. So I'll tell you what, if you're going to tell me that I shouldn't be talking about what I'm talking about because the last chick who wasn't my wife that I banged was like back in like the mid 90s, if that's the case, then first of all, I want you to show me who you're fucking, first of all. And second of all, it's like, if that's the case, then is that the criteria for validity in this space, right? Do you anything valuable to say? He doesn't know what he's talking about, blah blah blah. He's not living it out. He's not Rollo Tomasi don't get no hoes, man. Show me some hoes Rollo Tomasi gets, right? Is that what I have to do to be legit? Do I have to divorce my wife and fuck a bunch of random hoes and then I'll be legit? Is that okay? Or would you have less respect for me before because of that? Because I did that? I would say that it would probably be the opposite, right? Rollo Tomasi's he's going through a midlife crisis. He's trying to recapture his youth. Again, but that's always the first thing out of anyone's mouth. Rollo Tomasi don't get no hoes, man. That's why I use that as an intro for the show. Rollo Tomasi don't get no hoes, man. It's funny to me because it happens so fucking often. And I'm like, so if that's the case, if I tell you, you have to take my word on this shit for some of what I talked to you about. I just told you, say, my leg count's like 40, 41, somewhere around there. It might be higher now, but like, you can only trust me by saying what I'm saying. Unless you were right there when all that shit went down, it's like self-reporting, right? Okay, well, fine. But the way that you judge whether or not that person has any experience or has any validity or any value to what they're saying is by what they're fucking saying, right? is what I know the guy's a criminal, but he's got some truth to what he's saying. Like I will quote Destiny. I will quote guys who I strongly disagree with, but if they get something right, I might quote them. I'm not above that. If it's truth, it's truth, no matter who it comes from. So I mean, keep that in mind, because like when I get that from people, when I get that from like a guy like Joker, it's like I expect it. That's the easy. Like I expect better. Like do better. Like come on, man. And it's like if you're gonna attack me for just for not having the experience in the field, like I know Mike Rashid will say something like that. I know. Yes, I've seen the video. Thanks. You can stop sending it to me now. But I know really, what are we at? Like almost 2 years now? Oh, a year and a half for sure. Dude, it was like, you're still salty about that? Really? That still bugs you that much? I'm living rent free in your head. Call me. I'll be happy to talk to you. I'm not trying to be a dick. I actually like Mike Rashid, but I'm useful to him. I think as an aside. So anyways, what are some actionable sustain maximum attractiveness in a don't fuck up, really? I think, okay, so you want actionable. Stay. Okay, here's the key. Here's the key to a good, healthy relationship. It is not compatibility. It is not open communications. It is, well, first of all, stay attractive. Don't be unattractive. How do I do that? Well, make sure you're staying in the gym. You want actionable? Get your fat ass in the gym. I mean, that should be a given. I'm just going to presume that you already know that. But the key to a healthy relationship is based on polarity. It's opposites attract, dude. It's not likes that attract. Polarity. You want to know why this dude right here? Let's see, where'd he go? Where's my boy? Here he is. This guy is on a hellbound train.
Never have to sacrifice who you are to make someone else happy. And your past matters to me. Like, I care about what happened. It's nothing I can change, but like, it tells me about what you've been through.
This is how not to do it. This is an object lesson in how not to be attractive. I think what's funny is like and you'll see later on, actually, this is so good, right?
Me back to a time I call old Nicole.
Old Nicole.
What's old Nicole?
Old Nicole was...
Old Nicole is the pre-29 to 31-year-old Nicole. Just so we're
drinking
clear.
a lot. I was pretty selfish because I wanted everything to be about me and me enjoying my best life.
And guys putting out cigarettes in your arm.
I was out at bars all the time and, just drinking and really living it up. And
I was so crazy, in college, but now I'm different. You're going to have to work for it, mister.
Once I hit like 28, that's when I started my whole like personal growth journey.
Once I hit 28, fascinating how that happens right on schedule. You know who else was 28 when they hit that point of like sort of exasperation? Tommy Lahren. 28, fascinating how it would happen right then, huh?
Me moving to Nashville was part of that.
Moving to Nashville.
And
also Tommy Lahren.
ever since I moved, I call her New Nicole. I know, I don't.
This is New Nicole. Old Nicole was rocking it with rock stars and bad boys and dudes who like didn't give two shits about it. Dudes who wanted to, they wanted her to tattoo their name on her.
No, I do that, but I feel like it's cute. You don't like it.
No, it's cute.
Probably.
That right there. Did you see that? No, you don't like it. That right there, that's disrespect. That right there is let's just back that up. That's too good to not to get back into. There we go.
I know, I don't know why I do that, but I feel like it's cute. You don't like it.
No,
that's it. Right there, done. Eject. Next. That right there is unsolicited, is a natural, organic response to his behavior. She has nothing but contempt for this guy. The first dude that reminds her of the guy who was like putting out, and I'm not saying the guy, but like the guy who reminds her of the guy who would go to the point of like putting out a cigarette on her arm. That's the guy she's going to opt for besides this guy. Sorry, not sorry. That's the way it works.
Probably won't stop, but.
My message to her exes, they're lost. They let her go and treated her the way they did.
Okay. This guy right here might as well be verbatim Hafiz when we're talking about the ice cream shop.
And it's my gain. So like, I'm truly happy to be her husband.
Wow. Sorry, I'm going to remove that entirely. So there you go. You know what, James? Don't be that dude. Okay, you know what? Let me stop. I don't want to be dismissive because there's actually more that I was going to say to this. So first off, polarity is number one. You need to maintain your own identity. That guy, his identity is that girl. That's, like I said, this is the example of what not to do. The reason that's what's not to do is because he's accommodating, he's appeasing, he's a people pleaser. And when you do what this guy is doing, and I can't even believe they're married, but she's like, oh, about 28, I started my journey of self-discovery. Of course you did, because you're heading towards the epiphany phase. He doesn't recognize anything like that, and he'll fight me. I mean, literally come to blows with me for acknowledging that for him. But actionable things to do when you're to maintain attractiveness. Here's the number one thing. Here's the best advice I can give you. When you get into let's a marriage or whatever, the opportunities to demonstrate higher value and the opportunities to stoke, like, say, competition anxiety or imagination or dread, like passive dread, or which, by the way, is based on social proof and pre-selection. Once you are in a relationship with a woman, stoking those aspects of a relationship, let's say dread, competition anxiety, and by dread, I mean passive dread, imagination, and polarity between you and her becomes much, much more difficult because of the familiarity factor. My wife knows what my farts smell like, right? My wife knows who I am. She knows what my family is. She knows when my dad died. She knows when my mom died. She knows more or less everything about me, right? So you would say, oh, well, you must have a really boring relationship. There's no spontaneity. There's no novelty. Like, no, there has never been a boring moment for Mrs. T. I will tell you that. Right? Just these last 2 days is never a boring moment. I would love for her to be with me here in this very nice suite that I'm in right now, because I just need somebody here to help me out. I need a pit crew. I love it. If you're watching, baby, I love you. Please come out here. I need you now. Certainly as a helper, but also because I would really like to have her here. But also, it's like, it's great to be in a position. It's great to be in living a lifestyle that's just sort of like, that how you choose to live. You have to look for those opportunities in what you're doing. I would also say this is never stop being competitive. Because once you stop being competitive and you stop getting wins, even if it's just like stupid shit, like, hey, I won a chess game. Like, if you won something, if you have some sort of achievement or something like that, where even if it's the most minor thing in the world, but if it's like some form of victory or you're good at something, stay good at something. People asked, like, we were talking about, like, why is Tom Brady, like, why didn't he want to retire when he was? I'm like, because that's what made him happy. Playing football is what, like, being in the moment, like actually playing the game, doing the game was what made him happy. That's why he kept doing it. I work as a trash man. I never saw in my life so many flourish bouquets in trash bin. Don't waste your time, money, gentlemen. Yo, New Bro. Thank you, bro. Let's see. Gosh, lots of people today, man. I can't believe how you guys all showed up. You guys want to talk shit about people, and I will if you'd like me to. Let me keep going. Do I have anybody else? Where's my good boy? Where's Oh, wait a minute. You're up here. My bad. Sorry. I'm trying to find out. Oh, Icy just landed. Icy, I see you. Oh, Sam bought it. There we are. Sam, did I catch up? Where am I at right now? I'm trying, because Sam's also keeping track. There we are. Now I see where I am now. Thanks. Roller, why should traveling to another country in order to experience better dating opportunities is shamed as a cope, yet traveling from a small town to a big metropolitan city for the same reasons isn't? It's a lesser degree. Now, okay, so here we go. I'm going to talk about cope here for a minute. Cope is not what you think it is. When we talk about cope, it's cope. That's a shame. You're right. It's the way we deliver that line, the way we deliver the word cope it's not cope. It's you should be ashamed of what you're doing. That's what it is. A cope is I have to cope with my sleeping schedule when I'm here in Vegas because I have everybody dragging me this way and that. I am coping with my condition that I am in when I'm working or when I'm doing these shows. Like, to do this right now, I am coping with my environment to deliver this high value, high quality, show of shows, right? I'm coping. Here. This is my cope. God, it sounded better this way. This is my cope. Right? I got my trackball here. I got my coffee here. That's now cold. I'm coping with cold coffee. But that's the difference. It's not cope. It's shame. So yes, passport bros? That's a cope. Monk mode? That is most definitely a cope. Let's see. Can we think of any other things that are copes? Because usually when we say the word cope, it sounds like it's shameful, or it sounds like it's something that is, what if I told you passport bros, when they go to other countries, they're adapting to their environment and they say, well, you know what? I'm going to go fish where the fish are. I don't have there's no disrespect there. Nobody's going to shame you. As a matter of fact, I'm being a fisherman myself. If I'm going to a lake or I'm going to a body of water, if I'm inland shore fishing off of my kayak and there are no fish anywhere I'm at, and I check my nice fish finder on my very expensive kayak, and I see that there are no fish around here, do I go, well, I wouldn't want to be ashamed to leave this fine area right here and just keep casting in the hopes that some fish will eventually come along? Or do I paddle my happy ass out to somewhere where looks like this is where the fish are? Fucking A. Am I an idiot for doing that? Should I be ashamed for not having stuck it out at that other place? No, I'm not. So is it a cope? Yes, I'm coping with the situation that there ain't no fucking fish here. So yes, cope is. I know I'm getting into semantics here, but when we talk about cope, we have to look at why that is even a term or an abstract term for anything. It's like saying, again, it goes back to what I was saying about how women will shame men like Leonardo DiCaprio for nailing a 19-year-old girl and call it. Decide that the terminology should be he is a man child. He's a kidult. He's prolonging his adolescence. He is insecure in his masculinity, so therefore that's why he does. It's a cope for Leonardo DiCaprio because he can't handle the real woman like me at 36, fat and sassy and ready to go and have babies with them and have a real mature relationship. No. He has a fragile ego. And he really wants to just bang these girls because he's trying to make himself feel validated. He wants to look good with a 19-year-old girl and arm candy on his arm, right? Is that a cope? You're goddamn right it's a cope. Sure it is. But it's a cope for her too, for coming up with some bullshit, some rationale, some hamstering. There's a good old term for you. The rationalization hamster. That's a cope. Anything that's an adaptation can be called a cope. The problem you need to talk about when it comes to passport bros is why are you going? What are you doing over there? In that very first video, which I don't have queued now, the girl's like, well, they're all pervs. They're all pervs, except, well, oh gosh, I hate to do this to you guys. I really do. They're all pervs except for let's see. Well, is this chick a perv?
Husbands, but those husbands cannot have any other partners.
Okay. Oh boy, I have to stop it. I have to stop it here. Your comfort zones exist for a fucking reason, okay? What about these guys' comfort zones, right? We're all good in the hood. There's a reason why you have jealousy instincts. There's a reason why you have to sort of sublimate those to even entertain the idea of doing something like this. Is this a cope? Because it sounds a lot to me like this is something. Hey, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I want a man. Did you catch that? When she was like, "You're okay with them sleeping with multiple men, or her with multiple men?" You ask somebody on the street who's like unfamiliar with any of this shit, they're going to default to their natural sort of reaction because the guy who would do that seems like less of a man. The guy who would do that seems like the guy who's accommodating, like that other dude who was like, lick the ice cream dude. That's the guy. So when people see this stuff, there's a natural innate, I want to say revulsion, but certainly a hesitation, I guess revulsion too. Because when a woman sees her guy get his ass kicked, like just beat down, right? There's a visceral reaction in women when they know that their husband or their boyfriend or whoever it is that they decided to settle on in an LTR, when another guy comes and just beats him within an inch of his life, that is an ego blow for women, because they go, oh my God, he's like that, or he backs down, or he's passive, he's timid, he gets amogged, right? That's probably the one thing you want to know how to kill a relationship. That's how you kill a relationship. It would be better for you to fight and get your ass killed than it would be for you to get defeated and then just kind of like, lick your wounds. And when you say, oh, it's okay for that guy to go and nail your wife, or that guy it's okay to share her with other people, that tells that woman, like, in no uncertain terms, it tells her hindbrain in no uncertain terms of what kind of dude you are. You are the guy who, if he gets beat, can't protect her, can't provide for her, can't be, she doesn't want to breed with you and your shitty genetics, because that seems like a genetic thing. So I'm rolling that out there because I that reaction right there was just kind of punched me in the face a little bit. But let's keep going.
It's just
I'm probably gonna get a strike for that. I don't care. This is we're being very fast and loose today. Thanks for that, Alvin. Let me read that right quick. Girlfriend's aunt and uncle told her it's a major red flag that I like your books, and shared the Dr. Phil episode. Said it means I'm about male dominancy and undermining women, and she should be very careful. She should be very careful of you, because now your eyes have been opened. That's why. Sorry. So sometimes the red pill comes with a price, and that price is dealing with people never being able to understand, or never being able to, understand how to feel about the facts that are presented by the red pill, more or less. I haven't missed your supers. I'm sorry. I'm kind of skipping through them here. I am starring stuff as I go along here. What do you got here? Vegas. My little head has often exercised better judgment than my big head. He has higher standards and never succumbs to sympathy. Thank you. Let's push on a little bit more. Icy text me, and she is now in Vegas right now as of 2:56. I don't know if Miguel went to go pick her up. I kind of was hoping he would. I don't know if she did or not. Icy, I'll call you as soon as I'm done here. What should I ask no about TRT before trying it? That would be a better question for Mike Sartain, who would be happy to answer it in the Men of Action group, which you can become a member of if you follow the link right down below. And use my link, please. All right. I don't want to miss anybody here, because you guys are doing, even the non-super chats are really good questions today. Thank you for this. Today is a pod class, my friends. It's always been a pod class. I don't like using this camera on the thing. I should have used a different camera. This whole channel is cope. You know what's cope? Would you like me to tell you what's cope? Oh, you know what? Let's put that back up there. You know what? Would you like me to tell you what's cope, Moose? Being so addicted to me riding my dick that you are willing to show up to every single show that I do, because you want to put stuff like spicy hot takes like this in, and you are willing to create multiple accounts. What are we at now, guys? Are we at 6 or are we at 8? Don't know how many he's made so far. What's cope is what you do on a daily basis and on a weekly basis, dude. Please seek help. I know you have Asperger's syndrome. I know who you are now too, by the way. Trust me. You need help, dude. You need seriously clinical help. I would refer you to someone who actually can help you with your condition. What's this? What's going to set American men apart from the men of their nationality? All of those women abroad are not going to be okay with their man sleeping with other women. Oh yeah. Okay. That's actually something to keep in mind when we're talking about passport bros. Now, what are passport bros? These are the guys. By the way, passport bros, I know you want to think of yourself as sort of like the avant-garde and the cutting edge of the red pill or the manosphere or whatever the fuck we're calling it these days. Oh, 10. Okay. We're at 10. If he has more or less, then the overs are going to get it. So, or more, I should say. Hey, wait. Sorry, man. Big Mo, I don't have my freaking sound. I don't have my my stream deck with me today. Yeah. I see you. I see you. How much can a shared interest in paternal certainty unite men to, we're going to get to this, or to truce to on intersexual warfare based on an innate tribal instinct driving competition? I'll star this real quick because I want to come back to that when I get to the next video. I think the polyandry husband is Moose. Bravo, that was good. Golf clap for Mo. Golf clap for Mo. Mo, I don't know what I'm going to get you here in Vegas, but I'm going to get you a gift for just that comment. Glenn, would you agree that there's two types of passport bros? Okay, elaborate. One that women in the States find are guys with unattractive frame, and the other is the guy who doesn't find women in the States of marriage. So it's a quality issue. Got it. All right, so let's dig into that a little bit here after I get to these last two ugly ones here so I can catch up. Emilio, got you. Rolla, do you believe that this is scripted? Oh, absolutely it's scripted. If yes, what's the writer's goals? The writer's goals is to be sensational and to appease the commercial interests of it. That's what it's for. And here's the thing. Why is it? And of course, it has to be popular for it to appeal to commercial interests. So the better question is, why would the writers write about this? Because it's popular in society, in popular culture. That's the real question right there. I love that question, though. I've answered that one so many times I can't even remember. I see you, Margot. I love you, baby. I don't have my taboo music. I'm 30. I was a natural alpha till 22. Okay. Then never read anything. Then decided to do the right thing and got into two LTRs. They fucked me up. How do I get my mojo back? You get back in the gym and you restart your life. You're zeroed out. How do you do that? Well, you decide that you're going to reinvent yourself, more or less. Here's what you do. You read my book first and then read the fifth book. Read the first book, the fifth book, and then read the second book, which is Preventive Medicine. Rollo came out of the womb saying, pee. I forget. People keep asking me where I pulled that from. I wish I could tell you. I pulled it so long ago. And I thought it was so great, but I never saved the video for it. It was some random dude who just came out of the woodwork and just wanted to talk shit about probably he heard DJ Academics talking shit about me, and then he's like, so he piles on. Anybody who picks up on something that Ack is doing, if he just mentions my name, there'll be some dude that thinks they're going to get a boost in their numbers if they put my name in the title of their video, more or less. I think so too. You guys are on this. See, Big Mo and the rest of the guys in Bible study on the Fresh and Fit Discord right now, which I was on last Tuesday. They're covering preventive medicine, and I think the preventive medicine is really kind of it's underrated. It's criminally underrated. Do I sing? Oh, that's a good one. You don't mean to, not solo. I do not have the voice for singing solo. However, have I sung in the past? Yes, I've sung backup videos or backup vocals on many of the bands I've been in, but it's like gang vocals. So I'm not I am by no means a singer. So I'm a music composer is what I write lyrics, but I'm a music composer. I am by no means a singer songwriter. I leave that to Livy. Livy is a phenomenal virtuoso talent in that regard. How many of these passport bros think that they're breaking new ground? That's what I was going to ask. Thank you for bringing that up. Didn't one of the original R's write a book about this stuff in the 2000s? Yes. Well, actually, it was Roy. It wasn't Rollo. It was Roosh. In fact, if you think, by the way, if you're a passport bro, this show is not so I can shit on you or anything like that. This show is just to sort of explain a few things, just so you can put things into perspective. Because passport bros right now, all you are is you're just you guys are going outside looking for foreign brides. I mean, but we're not. We're different because things are different now, Rollo, and you don't understand what things are like. Oh, trust me, my friend, I do. It's just a new variation on an old theme. And so I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly how you want to know how Roosh sort of became Roosh. By writing lay guides, literally lay guides, how to get laid in Denmark, how to get laid in Poland, how to get laid in Belgium, wherever the fuck he was, right? He would literally go to these countries, spend months on end, sample the local fare, and then write a book about it. Now, you will not find those unless you find them in print right now, because he removed them once he became his orthodox, once he turned into Ted Kaczynski. But they were the basis of certainly the basis of his reputation was writing lay guides and going from place to place to place. In 2005, when did he start? 2007, I think. A dead bat in Paraguay. He went to South America, for fuck's sake. He went to South America. He went to he went to Estonia. He said Estonia was a really good place. One of his better books that was towards the end was it was called Pussy Paradise, Poosy Paradise. And I know it sounds kind of like, what the hell? Like, it sounds stupid, but it's actually a very brilliant book. And I think it was brilliant because he was sort of at the tail end of writing lay guides. And then he's kind of like, it's almost like, remember, it's like when Wolverine was in the X-Men in the 70s, Wolverine, right? And now we have Old Man Logan. That's the difference between Pussy Paradise and like a dead bat in Paraguay. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Sorry. What do you got here? What is adding value in social relationships? That's very broad. Social relationships. What about adding value? Could be anything. What do you want me to say? Money, have a lot of money and be an entrepreneur and be on top of your game. And am I supposed to come up with a buzz term for that? Because this is a very, very broad question. Passport Bros is just taking advantage of the currency exchange. I'm sure now, whatever incentivizes you, 60,000 a year in the US is equal to 3 million in the Philippines. Yes. And so, so let me explain something to you, because this is not a new conversation. We just didn't call it Passport Bros back in 2015 or 2005 for that matter, because this is part of the cycle. So I don't know what the hell it was called, but there's guys who expats. That's what it was. I had guys in the Rational Male blog in my commentary. In fact, there's one called Expat. That was his name. And I think he went to Thailand. I think he's somewhere in Southeast Asia. And I mean, to his dying breath was defending, like, I'm here. These girls really love me. And I've got, girls in their teens, and I got girls who are 25, and I got girls who are peeling grapes for me on the beach, and I'm sipping a Mai Tai, and I couldn't be happier, and I'm 58 years old, and I'm fat, and they love me like no one else has been loved on planet Earth in the history of the humanity. I'm like, God damn, man. So I look at that, and I'm thinking, that if you go, put it this way, if you're in the desert, or you go into a place where there's no food, there's no water, and suddenly you reach the land of the Sacred Crescent, the breadbasket of the world. Suddenly you get into a place where it's the land of milk and honey. I'm sure you're going to be raving about it. But the other thing is like, you guys have to get to a point of like starvation, so that you can be like sort of evangelists for being a passport bro, or being a guy, or an expat. Let's just say you're not the first to do this. Trust me. And I'm cool with that. Right. I did I know what it was. 2015, I did a post on the Rational Male, and it was in response to a documentary. It was called Bachelor Nation, actually, is what the name of it was. But what it did was, it was a documentary of all these black men in the black communities who were abandoning the United States to go to Brazil, because the chicks in Brazil were the bomb. Like, the girls and the black women in the United States were so fat and sassy and entitled, and they all have college degrees, and they all have this. And like, of course, remember what I've said in the past. Like, when I talk about to these women who are like the Steve Harvey woman, like when she says, I can't find my man, I'm almost 38 years old, and my mom needs grandkids, and I don't know what to do. Steve, help me out here. Well, the thing is when I say women have become the men that they wanted to marry, that's not that I didn't just pull that out of my ass in 2021. That was something that we were talking about in 2015. And again, something we were talking about 2009, 2004. We talk about this forever. This is not some new problem. This is not some new epidemic. That's what gets me when I listen to like Michaela Peterson, of all fucking people, on Fox News, telling us how, the reason why men are dropping out of the workforce is because of like completely unrelated. How are you an authority on any of this? I'll show you the video here. I have it queued. But the reason why they're leaving the workforce and leaving the country and becoming passport bros is because they're responding to market pressures. That's what passport bros are. It's just responding to market fish where the fish are. I get it. Fine. If you want to go and you want to do that, more power to you. It doesn't mean guys who are nailing hotties down at Zook or at Cirque or wherever or what Republic, it doesn't mean they're bad and you're good. It just means you're responding to different market pressures than they are. So guys are like either too happy or too pissed off about passport bros. The one thing I will take one issue with you guys. I understand. I'm not necessarily saying don't do it or do it. I'm not endorsing or saying it's shame on you. Shame on you. I'm not saying that. Not at all. I totally get it. I understand why you're going there. You have the golden ticket. You can go to the Philippines, man. It's like as soon as a white guy, tall guy, hell, you don't have to be 6 foot tall. You could be 5'10". You walk off the plane and you're white and you're from the United States. You have the golden ticket. Remember the golden ticket in Willy Wonka and the chocolate? I got a golden ticket. You might as well have a golden ticket when you walk off. It's a pussy ticket. You walk off the plane and women love you. And so what happens is, of course, modern Western women who, like the one in the video at the very beginning of today's show, who's talking about, well, they must be pervs. No, they're responding to market pressure. And you're that pressure. They don't want you because you're not feminine. You're not hot. You're not demure. You're not the kind of girl that they want to get with. The kind of girl they want to get with are laying on a beach in Pagudpud. They're in Quezon City, man. That's where those women are. Burma. I don't know wherever the fuck you guys got. South America. Certainly Brazil was on that one video, right? But the brothers like Brazil. I don't know. Is there help me clarify this. Is there like different countries that like the brothers like to go to, like white guys want to go to, like, I don't know, Southeast Asia? Is it better fishing? Is it better fishing in, like, I don't know, Guam or Thailand or the Philippines for white guys, and then like black guys are like, let's go to Sao Paulo. I want to know the reason. I want to know the rationale and the tactics behind that, because that maybe I'm a little confused on that. You guys can help me out with that. But yeah, and then on top of that, the exchange rate. If you're a digital nomad, like if you're like a guy like I'm not, if you're a lesser god, if you're to the god of like being George Gammon. George Gammon is on the road all the time. He's what I would call the epitome of a digital nomad, and I love him like a brother. But he goes from place to place to place. He has one kind of headquarters in like Colombia, in Colombia, right? In Medellin, right? But he's all over. He's everywhere. And that's just his lifestyle, and that's what he has to do. Brandon Carter doesn't have a car. He's funny as hell. He should be a stand-up comedian, but like he's got no car. He doesn't do laundry. He doesn't go shopping for food. He doesn't go to Publix and buy food, or very little food, because he just goes, because his mentality is, why would I spend time on that when I have services laundry? So I get laundry services. Why would I spend time on that with the money? The time I would be spending on that would be costing me money. I could be making money using the time that I would use to like go to the laundromat or have a car or whatever. You want to talk about minimalism? Like Aaron Clary, go look up Brandon Carter. And he's funny as hell. And I can't argue with it. But is he a passport bro? I don't think he's a passport bro. But he would be a god tier passport bro if he was. Is that guy, should we shame? No woman wants to shame Brandon Carter for that lifestyle. I will tell you that right now, because of the way he looks. And he's hot, he's fucking good. That dude fucks, trust me. But so really it's sort of by order of degree. So like it's almost like the guy who's the fat guy who says, it's that cartoon where the fat guy goes into the office and say, hey, looking good, Diane, and she's calling HR. And then the good looking guy is, says, hey, looking good, Diane. It's a good looking dude, suave, looking well dressed. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. Right. That's the difference between like passport bros and like guys who are digital nomads who can go and live in, Burma for a few months and then go somewhere else. Are they doing that because they want to get laid? Is it sexual tourism? That's really what it comes down to. You want to know why they call you pervs? It's because it's the sexual tourism aspect. It's the idea that, well, I can't get laid here, and I could go get I have a better chance of getting laid in Thailand than I do in my own country. And by the way, that's not just for the United States. I should point that out. There are passport bros in other countries. It's not just the US. So it's pragmatism. So at least from a pragmatic perspective, Passport Bros, you have my respect, put it that way. You're just adapting to the market stresses and market pressures. Understood. The reason why people call you pervy is because they think it's sexual tourism. They think no woman would have you in the US or whatever country you're from. No one would have you in this country. So you have to go somewhere where they're stupid. Essentially, white women who are like white Anglo-Saxon woman who called Passport Bros pervy. The reason why she's doing that is because she's understands that if enough guys do that, then that's going to leave her ass out. But she can't accept the fact that her instinct is saying that any guy that would do that is only doing it because of sexual tourism, because they're not high quality enough in the US to get laid. So they will go to the Philippines. They will go to Southeast Asia. They'll go to Brazil, wherever you're going. I don't even know where the fuck you're going. But that's understand, if you're going to be a passport bro, at least understand what you're getting into, and don't be pissed off, and don't get all indignant, and don't go all fucking spurgy on me because you think that you're going to like destroy the US sexual marketplace, because you're not. Trust me. No one cares that you're a passport bro. Women are not going, ah, there's too many passport bros. Oh no, we're doomed. The jig is up, ladies. I guess we better behave ourselves better. Do you honestly think that that's what's going to happen? No. You guys make me get all improv theater just so I can deliver that line. It's cope. It is cope. But that in this case, maybe cope is okay. It's not cope. It's an adaptation. You're adapting to the market. The reason why people will call it cope is because you guys keep hyping it up. If you guys were really that respectable, you wouldn't get pissed off when people give you shit. You wouldn't be trying to like say, oh, this is the best way to go. Black pill doomers, okay, guys, we're all going to Thailand. You know what women will say? Please do. Get the fuck out of here. That's what they'll tell you. You're not saving the West. You're not destroying their poor little fragile egos. They don't want you to begin with. So it's a win-win, really, for both of you. But like the thing that kills me, and so I gave you the good part. I gave you the positive part. Okay, I think it's pragmatic. You go fish where the fish are. Men solve problems with deductive reasoning, and in this case, it just makes practical sense. It's pragmatic to go do that. 60,000. What do you say? $60,000 a year is equal to $3 million in a year in the Philippines. Well, fucking A. Why wouldn't you go there? With $3 million a year in the Philippines, how many babies could you have? You could have this big giant like tribe of, I don't know. Go to Pagudpud. Go there. Live there. But you also have to take the good with the bad. So passport bros are either like people are either too happy or too pissed off about passport bros. It's one of those things about like the wall. It's the same thing, really. Women are going to hit the wall, but we're not. We're going to be in the Philippines with our, tribe of 4 wives and little, 1,000 babies. Like we're gonna be the patriarchs of the Philippine of Pagudpud. That's what we're going to be. Good for you if you can pull it off, but don't do it because this is like sort of like the moral, ethical thing. Like, I'm going to get her. If you're becoming a passport bro because you want revenge on the girls who wouldn't touch your dick in high school, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You should be doing it for you, and because this is the most practical, pragmatic way of going about, solving my reproductive problem. Excellent. You have my respect. If your reason for being a passport bro is to stick it to the girls, fuck you. Just get the fuck out of here. That's stupid. Absolutely stupid. And it tells me what your motivations really are. So in that case, I would definitely say it's cope. If your reason is to simply go there because, hey man, the fishing's good in the Philippines, bravo, you got my respect. But if you want to go, women are like, when I was doing research for this and I pulled these last 2 videos here, and I was trying to familiarize myself with because it's pretty much the same thing as, sexual tourism and what writing lay guides in Estonia. That's just a repeat of a variation of a theme, I should say. When I was doing the background on this, I'm looking on YouTube, and the number 1 return when I'm searching for passport bros is bitches are angry at passport bros. And then I'm damn near every one of them. The girls aren't angry. They just think you're a creep. They just think you're pervy, right? That's why I included that one. They just think there's something wrong with you. They say you're so low quality that you can't qualify for a chick in the United States, so you have to go somewhere else, which is, by the way, has always been the shaming tactic. But it's not shaming. It wouldn't be a shame. You wouldn't even interpret it as a shaming tactic if you were going to the Philippines because it was a pragmatic decision rather than you wanting revenge on the average white woman in the United States. So if your purpose, if your point of going and becoming a passport bro is to give women their comeuppance, come back here and like sort shit out, because you're doing it for the wrong reason. If you're doing it for the right reason, which is because you can solve your reproductive problem, things the fishing's better in Quezon City, then yeah, you have got my. Then I would say it's not a cope; it's an adaptation. Certainly, it's a response to market pressures. That's all it is. That's what we call. Why is it that women, average, certainly wokesies, right? But when we talk about like the red pills, like, oh, it's anti-feminist, it's out there. No, it's not. It's we're being factual and pragmatic about this. And the problem that people have is they can't deal with the pragmatism of what we have to do, what guys have to do to solve their reproductive problems, to live a better life. That's why. Oh, you can't play by our rules, so you got to go and play by somebody else's rules, and you got to go manipulate and exploit young women who don't know any better in the Philippines. And you have to go over there because they're in a third world country, and they'll do anything you say. That's the only reason they would ever be beholden to you. That's the only reason they would ever want to get with you. But then, of course, what is the number one? Let's see, what is the number one show on TLC right now? Let's watch.
My name is April Jane, and I am in my 50s.
Can I ask you your age?
I am in my 50s.
When I meet good-looking, my type of a man, I introduce myself, say, hey, I'm so young, and I'm so
I'm Kelly, I'm 50 years old, and my alter ego is Disco Mommy.
But I have an extremely high libido.
All these women look
Disco Mommy. Let that sink in.
amazingly hot, but they're not me.
Please head to the house where you will meet the new men in your life.
Know that these guys are going to be younger, and I connect to younger men, especially in the bedroom.
My special woman has to be older.
I love older women that can keep up with me because I'm bringing that young energy.
Whoa! Hey! All right now. Woo!
That's my mom right there. Mamá, ¿qué haces aquí?
Dios mío de mi vida.
I am really confused right now. What is really happening here?
I'm like completely shocked. I see my son back there, and it's like, who are all these guys?
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
We're supposed to date the other moms?
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That is so weird. I'm here to find love.
Honestly, older women are very hot. I know I got the swag and I got the game for them.
I'll be in the hot tub.
Make it stop!
Sorry, ladies.
Make it stop!
Going on a date here,
You know what movie that's from?
Because, yeah, right.
Please call for help.
No, he's 20.
No, I'm gonna be 21.
Oh, you're the baby.
And you gonna be.
We have our first challenge, and all the young men take their shirts off.
I want you, and you, and you.
You have to go up and touch all of the young men.
Disco Mommy's in the house.
Who's ready for a checkup at the doctor's office?
I think I'm just go to sleep.
No. The second room on the left.
Please call for help.
Paula has these feet that I just want to like oil up and then paint her toenails maybe a color and like knock the acrylic off them toes.
And I used to do that with Jose when he was smaller. I love to do that with kids.
Guess we're going in the bedroom now that your mom's gone.
Oh, look, there's that word again. You guys like that? Let me ask you something here. After that stellar performance, remember, this is on TLC, okay? So the concept, would you like me to explain the concept, or did you get that from the broadcast? And by the way, God, who did I pick that up from? I forget, but I thank you very much. Hopefully fair use, but yeah. So who's pervy now? Imagine this. Imagine if they had taken a bunch of dudes' daughters, and they were in their, the guys in their 50s. One girl's 59 years old. They took women who are 50 to 59 years old, or men who are 50 to 59 years old. They got their daughters who are like just like supermodel girls. You're going to turn into Leonardo DiCaprio for the weekend, and you're going to get to do this. Why is that acceptable? And Leonardo is not. Why is that okay? Why are they not pervy? Why is disco mommy not pervy? Why is that? That's what I would like to know. Somebody needs to tell me, like, hey, please explain this to me. But I'm pointing this out, of course, I'm being facetious. But the reason why I'm putting this into this particular episode today is because if we're going to talk about sexual tourism, if we're going to talk about voyeurism, we have definitely crossed a Rubicon here. Okay. Like when I was talking to the ladies at the AVN, when I was at the Adult Video Network Expo, and was out there, one of the questions I was asking was like, what is really kind of like rubs you the wrong way these days? Like, is there something that's too far that's in this industry? And one of the things they told me was like, they really didn't like doing the porn where the story was like about incest, because it's more popular. And they didn't want to do it because it kind of like gave them a bad taste in their mouth. And it's not, maybe not literally, but there's a sense of revulsion that we have when it comes to, like, incest is a natural instinctual sense of revulsion that human beings have. And I want to say that probably most like higher order mammals do too. There's an instinctual response that we have to stuff like that. And I discussed it was on Access Vegas, as a matter of fact, we talked about the difference between like how women perceive creepy and how men perceive creepy. But we are expected to be like functional equals, right? Men and women are just equal. We think that if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So if women feel creeped out by a certain thing, men ought to as well. And the fact is we don't. There are gender differences in our perceptions of a lot of different things. Love, respect, certainly creeping out, right? So men see MILF Island, and maybe they're kind of like, I don't know, maybe they get off on it. Who knows? But there's a reason why they're putting money into this. There's a reason why commercial, like businesses, I don't know what businesses, but are putting money into the commercials for MILF Island because it's popular. It wouldn't be a show if it wasn't popular. If it was beyond the pale, if it was 50 to 59-year-old men with big pot bellies and had a lot of money, and they had their yachts were moored out on the beach out there, and their daughters were there, and said, "Hey guys, here's the deal. We got all your daughters here. You don't have to bang your daughter, but you can have your free runs on any of the girls that aren't your daughter." Would that show get made? Would the producers and the writers of that ever work in the show business again? Would we put them in jail? Would we call it sex trafficking? Would we call it sex tourism? We're stroking off to MILF Island, in the figurative sense, on TLC, and yet we're waiting with bated breath to see what happens with the Tates for sex trafficking. That's not a defense of the Tates. I'm agnostic about the Tates, but I am pointing out some inconsistencies here, and it goes hand in hand with the passport bros. I was quoted in Epic Times, as a matter of fact. Thank you, John McGillian. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. But I was quoted in the Epic Times in an article that he had written about sexual tourism of women going from like Western European countries and the United States to places like Kenya and to like places in, I want to say it's Eastern Africa primarily, or Jamaica, or other, kind of tropical, places where the fish are biting. There's no fish. I can't get laid in the UK. I can't get laid in in the United States, I'm going to go to these other countries and I'm going to go find a nice young black young man and knock it out with them because I'm on tour and I'm a woman and I can do whatever the hell I want because men do it anyway, so why shouldn't I be able to do it, right? You want to talk about sexual tourism on the side, like people will say, well, men or passport bros are sexual tourists. They're predators. They're pervy. They're going to Southeast Asia. They're going to the Philippines. And maybe some of them are. I don't know. I don't know each individual one. But if you're going to go and point out that passport bros or expats, whatever we're calling them today, if you're going to say, if you're going to shame them for going to Thailand, you're going to shame them for going to Brazil because they don't like mouthy, fat, black women in the United States. It's usually the brothers that go to Brazil. If you're going to shame them or give them grief about that and say, oh, they're children, they're kidults, they're trying to extend they want a woman who's just going to be their mother. They want a woman who's just going to like bow down and be, take it on the chin, and they're going to be deferential and submit to a man. So that's why they go to these places. That's why they go to the Philippines. That's why they go to Brazil. That's why, I don't know, Colombia. I don't know where else you would go. Women do it too. You want to talk about men do it too? Women do it too. In fact, that was what the whole article was about. I want to say it was the Epoch Times or it was like the American Observer, I think. Either one of those, because I know he writes for a couple different publications. But they quoted me in that, and I had to do some research on sexual tourism of women into those countries. And then he wanted to get my opinion on like why, like evolutionarily speaking, why would women want to do that? Or economically speaking, why would women do that? Especially women who have money. Well, if the fish aren't biting in London, they're going to fly down to Kenya or wherever. I don't know. Again, I keep Ivory Coast. I don't know where the hell they go, but that's where they go. And the guys there know they're coming and they know how to work them too. That's sexual tourism, but we don't talk about that. It's okay when women do it. It's okay. But when an older guy goes and he finds a younger girl in Thailand, Southeast Asia, then that is sexual tourism and that is sex trafficking. Whereas when a woman goes and does it, then it's not. It's her just being independent and there's no criminal act happening when a woman goes and does it. And by the way, it happens a lot more than a lot of people say, oh, that only happens a little bit. No. I was actually just as shocked because I had to do the homework on it. So I know what I was talking about when I did those articles. So yeah, it happens a lot more than you would like to think. And here we have MILF Manor on TLC. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly the same thing, but it's the same dynamic. It's older women who want to get with younger guys. Are they creepy? Are they pervy? The guys certainly don't think so, I'm sure. Oh, I get to fuck my mom's best friend? All right, let's go. And I get paid for it on a beautiful tropical island, God knows where. I'm in. And what else are they going to say, right? But this is where we're at. This is what entertains us. And one is okay. MILF Manor is okay. Passport bros are not okay. MILF Manor is okay, and in fact, we love it. It's what I don't know what its ratings are, but I'm sure it's probably pretty high because everybody on the internet's talking. You guys can't stop DMing me about it, so here you are. God damn it, stop now. But one's okay, MILF Manor's okay, and yet Tristan and Andrew are sitting in a Romanian jail going, "What the fuck did we do? MILF Manor's on. Let's go watch." I'm not saying it's exactly the same thing, but the dynamic is the same thing. You want to say he manipulated those girls? Okay, you can even make a case for that. Let's just give you that for the time being. How are those guys not being manipulated? Oh, they're being paid. They want to be there. Well, maybe they wanted to be there too. What about the guys in Ivory Coast that the women are sex trafficking or women are going for sexual tourism? What about them? Is that different? So I'm I'm not making a judgment call on this. I know it sounds like I am, but I'm presenting this in a way so that people can say it's apples versus apples, orange versus oranges. So for comparative reasons, if we're going to say that passport bros are pervy for leaving the country to go do this, then you would have to be just as, if not more, just as, because you're supposed to set a better example, right, ladies? You should be just as more pissed off about MILF Manor. I would bet you. In that video that I showed where we were asking about passport bros and that one blonde chick who's like, oh, I'm here, marry me, right? That one, if you would have asked her, hey, did you watch MILF Manor? She'd be, oh yeah, it's great. I love that show. Really? You want to know why guys are leaving the workforce? You want to know why they're going to different countries? You want to know why they're just exiting like society in general? It's not one thing. It's not any one particular thing. It's a lot of factors, and a lot of them, sorry to say, is due to a gynocentric social order. And then we have to talk to the foremost leading expert on
number of
the
independent
state of men.
women is on the rise in America. But what about the missing men? More than 7 million men ages 25 to 54 have dropped out of the workforce just this past year. So what's the disconnect, and what does it teach us? Let's ask daughter of Jordan Peterson and podcast host Michaela Peterson. Michaela, thank you very much.
Because she will know.
Much for being here. So let's start with that question. Why are less men participating in the workforce than just a few years ago?
I think there's a number of reasons. I think the increase in mental illness plays a role. So 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness at some point in their lifetime.
Okay, somebody write these down. Actually, Sam, write these down. 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Where is that stat coming from? I want to know where that stat comes from. And also, if that's the case, are we diagnosing men who are traditionally masculine as having a personality disorder? Because that's what the APA, her dad's the best expert on that particular stat.
And that's got to contribute to men dropping out of the workforce. But the other things that could possibly contribute would be the media's portrayal of men for the last 20 years. They show men as these bumbling fools, and that's got to be hard on men's confidence generationally. And then I think one thing that people don't talk about at all.
All right, let me stop right there because I want to pick up on all of these bullshit answers. This is like, oh, well, let me think of stuff. It's like she's thinking this shit up on the spot right here. Oh, it's mental health. Mental health is the reason that they're not participating in the workforce, because they're sitting at home going, oh, I need somebody to talk to. I gotta find a couch somewhere to faint on. That's why? No. I mean, if they'd had Aaron Clary on here, like, you would get a much different response. You would have you want to talk about quality content and quality information. Aaron Clary would run the tables on this, but they get a 31-year-old, a divorced single mother of one who has no earthly idea what the fuck she's talking about. So have a look at that, but then also have a look at like the fact that she's like, I mean, the next thing is it's mental health. That's why they're not participating in the workforce. Then you'll notice that everything she talks about here it's on guys. It's their fault. It's it's toxic masculinity. It's funny because like, it's almost as if she is like the anti-Jordan Peterson, at least anti-Jordan Peterson from like 2018, because everything she talks about here is, oh, woe is me. And oh, we need men to man up and do better because women need men to do better. It's women's problem, not men's problem.
Is the birth control pill. And I think that's majorly impacting relationships between men and women negatively. So women, and this has been shown to be true, women choose more feminine men when they're on the pill. And for some reason, people aren't talking about that. That's crazy. That could impact people generationally easily.
Wrong.
So it's almost as if, no, it's great. It's really fascinating. So if as women get more independent and are in the workforce, does that mean men feel less valued as a result? And so consequentially, those types of tough jobs or being in the labor force is not as significant as it was before?
I don't know. I think that people think that the problem is women in the workforce, and I don't actually think the issue is women in the workforce. I think
No, Michaela, the problem is women in the workforce.
It's more likely that birth control is playing a role.
Jesus Christ. Can I, let me just interject here because I got to stop at this point right here. No, Michaela, let me school you on a few things. No, it is women in the workforce, okay? Because as our industrial base in the United States has dried up. Men, all of the jobs that men would flock to, whether it was skilled labor, but it was you didn't have to have like anything more than a high school diploma or whatever to get into it. The jobs that women get into have become more abundant. The jobs that men tend to get into have become less abundant. It's not fucking rocket science. It is not the pill. It is not women getting bitchy. It is not women like saying, "Oh, we want feminine guys." Those feminine guys are still not in the workforce. Like, I can't, like 2 + 2 is 4. Like, come on. Just because women are picking more, even if that were true, which is not, but even if it were true, even if hormonal birth control was the cause of women going and marrying, guys who were like less masculine. First of all, how long was she on the birth control up until the point where she clearly she wasn't on the birth control when she got with Andre. Was she on birth control when she got with Jordan Fuller? I'll wait. Is he evident? Is he like an example of this new woman looking for pussy ass men? Is that it? Maybe she's not. Maybe the meat diet actually helps her, is contraception now, right? But the fact of the matter is like even if it were true, let's just give it to you. Even if it were true, the guys that women want to get with that are like pussies and beta males, they're still not in the fucking workforce. So it's like completely immaterial to the conversation. Why? You don't know. You fucking don't know. Just admit it. I don't know why the fuck I'm here. I'm just here because I got Peterson at the end of my name. Oh, wait. No, it's supposed to be Fuller. No, it's Peterson. Remember that shit? Oh, I'm going to change my name to Michaela Fuller. No, you're not. You still haven't.
And impacting the relationships between men and women negatively, more than women being in the workforce. And that's not even a problem we can solve.
Families aren't forming and people are staying single longer, and so roles don't develop in ways that traditionally had fortified both men and women.
Why? Why is that? Ask one simple question. That's all you got to do. Why? Why would that be the case? Why would it be the case that if you put more women into the universe? I'm going to go full Aaron Clary here. What will happen? Let's see, guys. What will happen if we put 65% of women into the university system? And let's see, the higher degrees are actually being earned mostly by women right now. We've given them nothing but special dispensation, nothing but grant after grant. Get them into STEM, get them in this, encourage them that. Put them in the politics, do all this stuff. I wonder what's going to happen. Do you think men will man up and count? Do you think that they'll push back? Do you think that men will man up after 4 generations of us telling them to man down? And you're going to say it's a birth control pill? You're not going to recognize the fact that, here's the better part is this, like, why? Well, they're waiting longer and longer to get married. They're waiting longer and longer to form families. Why would that be? Because you put women into those roles. That's why. Why? Like, it's like the blind leading the fucking blind. Of course. Yes, of course women are going to put off marriage. You want to know why women are freezing their eggs? You want to know why Lolo Jones is crying a bloody river? You want to know why Jennifer Aniston is saying I should have froze my eggs? She has no kids. She's in menopause now, and there's no bloody chance she's going to have a child ever. And we go, oh, poor Jen. I was on Team Jen. You can go and give her all the sympathy in the world, but she's got the fucking bed, and now she has to lie in it. But we don't talk about that. We don't know why you're concerned. Why would we even have the technology to freeze eggs so women can postpone it and keep going? And don't worry, when you're 40, you'll still be able to have a kid. Maybe. It's just more than a man can fucking take. You're asking, why would you ask this? I think that this taught me a lesson. I'll finish this thing out, but this taught me a lesson. I'll tell you what the lesson is here. But before I do, the idea that they're diagnosing the symptoms very well, but they don't know the cause. They don't know what the disease is. Well, it's probably because more and more women are delaying marriage. Well, why would they be doing that? Well, because men aren't manning up. Well, why aren't they manning up? Riddle me that, Batman.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in order to have children, women need to feel comfortable and safe with a masculine man. Otherwise, why are they going to want to have kids? And so
Still hasn't had kids with Jordan Fuller.
we have women on birth control choosing feminine men and then not wanting to have children. And this is in the literature. This isn't a conspiracy theory. You can look in the scientific papers. So I think that plays a major role.
And then men feel less valuable, and when you feel less valuable, you're less likely to work as hard as you did in the past, especially when those toxic jobs aren't seen as...
So did you get that? Did you catch that, guys? The reason you're not working and your unemployed ass is still sitting there playing Xbox, the reason is because your fifis are hurt. Because, oh, I don't feel valued. I'm not going to go find a job. Get the fuck out of here. What the fuck are you talking about? How about this? How about all of those jobs have dried up? How about we look at the socioeconomic forces that have put women into particular positions and have removed men from it? Can we look at that? I can hardly wait until we find some way to like automate like long distance trucking, which I don't think we're going to do anytime soon. But imagine we do that. Imagine our, our industrial base, which is usually male specific. That dries up. What's that going to do to the family? It's fucking birth control. It's not rocket science. But you're asking this functionally autistic retard. Oh, well, I don't know. Let me just rattle off some. There's some scientific papers out there, I think. What? Come fucking correct. Jesus Christ. I went on Dr. Phil, and I ran the risk, and probably I would never get asked back again as a result. But I go in there and I'm like a fucking surgeon. I know my shit. I know my data. I'm ready to give me the question. Come on. I'm begging you. Give me the question. I know what it's going to be. Let's go. Home run booker? Yeah. Economic base? Yeah. You're asking this little she's this middle schooler. What's going on? Here's why we think. Why are you an authority? Why on earth would you be considered an authority?
As positively as they were in the past. It's fascinating. There's a lot to it.
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh,
Last
definitely. Word. Yeah. No, definitely. The fact that masculinity is now seen as toxic means that the people that women.
No, dear, it's been considered that for quite some time. This is not a new fucking thing.
Women are attracted to, masculine men, are seen as toxic. And that's just confusing everyone. It's confusing men because they don't want to be masculine because they don't think that's what women like. And then it's confusing women because they don't have anyone to be attracted to. It's a disaster.
It is a disaster. Michaela Peterson, thank you so much.
So the solution, of course, is everything that I've always said it was, which is, let me pull that out. The solution, of course, is to what? Men, you need to man up. Men, you need to take responsibility. Men, you need to become the best versions of yourself. You need to become more masculine. You become more dominant. You need to become all of these things, because if you don't, women aren't going to be able to have families. We're not going to be able to satisfy our lifelong plans. We need you when we're 28, when we're done having cigarettes put out on our shoulders. We'll need you once we're the flavor of ice cream that's been licked a few times. But it's okay. We want you to forgive and forget and hold us up and deify us and, I don't know, make a spiritual thing out of the whole thing. Right on schedule, conveniently. Right? So, like, again, you're never going to solve this. It's never going to solve this problem when you have idiots leading other idiots. This is not, and again, whatever, if you guys can give me all the shit in the world about it, Michaela, I don't give two fucks now. But when I see stuff like this and I see the inaccuracies here, or I say, oh, the red pill guy's this or that, whatever, this is the same person who's supposed to be an authority. Okay? So you go and you look at that. You look at Destiny. People bring Destiny. I'm not shitting on Destiny, whatever. Actually, he said some things that I almost agree with on a couple of podcasts ago. But when you put him up there as an expert witness for the Manosphere, I got to take issue with that. When you put Michaela Peterson on here as an expert witness on sort of like, oh, what's the problem with men? And by the way, yes, I was quoted from the Dr. Phil show on Fox News on Thursday of this last week. I'll put the link in if you really want to see it. But they quoted me as saying, what did I say? Oh, it was the only time media celebrates men, you've heard me say this before, celebrates men, is when men are acting feminine. You want to know why they probably dug her up? It's because of that article right there. You're welcome, Michaela. Because I went on fucking Dr. Phil's. Fox News saw it. They pulled out that clip. They turned it into an article, and they go, hey, maybe this Rolo guy is a little too intense. Let's go get some dumbass, blonde autistic child on here to tell us about this. And then ergo, you get these, the blind leading the blind. And I mean, who watches fucking Fox News anyways, right? What's the demographic for Fox News now? 50 to dead. Anyways, that I wanted to, and now I'll get off my freaking soapbox here. Thank you, PP. I wish I had your sound drop here. I don't, but you are always very well appreciated in the chat, my friend. Let's see. I am getting really close to how much battery do I have left? I have 29% battery left. You're going, well, Rolo, why don't you plug in the laptop? Let me explain. I left the power cord back in my studio in Reno. However, this is a top of the line MacBook Pro. I can actually charge it through the USB cord, and I could keep going. Well, the problem is, I've got this mic, I've got this track, I got all of my cords are taken. So I got 29% of battery left. So we're going to go with that until the battery runs out. How's that? Sosa, a town in DR Cartagena, Colombia, Brazil, and Poland, where a lot of Polish women want to be with black men. Yeah. By the way, this is like an open secret. just saying, brothers, white girls got OnlyFans. You could, where to go to Cartagena? Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to know another reason why men are dropping out of the workforce? So it seems like they're just like completely like listless and lazy. Look at all the business opportunities for women to sell their ass on OnlyFans. At the very least, you could do that. You might not be a top 0.004%er, but did you know that OnlyFans was the #1 requested like career choice of like college counselors? Like women they would go entering college and they want to know how to do better on OnlyFans, so they were trying to take classes in 2020. They go to college counselor, how do I be a better hoe? God, you guys are brutal, man. You know what's funny is I go and throw a video on there and I lose track of the chat. I come back and you guys are just like barbaric. How is this fucking possible? Yeah, I kept asking myself the same thing. Oh, where did I get? Oh, hey, there it is. That's what I was looking for. That show is disgusting as fuck. Okay, there's your 69, 79, 69, 99, 99 Canadian. What do you call it? Leaves? I don't know. What do you call a dollar in Canada? These are Canucks. 69 Canadian Canucks. Adaptation for men, 15 years to 20 years service in Japan. I can GS out the Japan once retired. So it's an option. Okay, thank you very much. All right. What else? Don't worry, I didn't miss your super chats. I started a bunch of these too. The horror. I know, right? Come on. Who got the movie right? Let's see who got the movie right. Nobody did. And I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Definitely perfect people. Thank you. Stephanie Meta. Stefan. Look like Stephanie, dude. Stéphane Metayer. Black men going to Brazil started from those big Brazilian bubble butts DVDs. Chocolate foam. Don't look that up. Oh man, hey, you're already on what? Let's see. What was I doing there? Market research. Recruiting. Because it doesn't offend the net. Yeah, it does. You're right. Moose, you're on number 11. There you go. Smoking that moose pack. Thank you very much. Please do it. You know what I'm going to do for you? Hang on. Oh, God damn it. Oh, you're not in right now. I can't do it from here. Big Mo, I'm going to make you a mod on my channel, dude. You're officially a mod. I can't do it from StreamYard, though. I'll have to do it later. Someone would die if that were meant. Yes, it would. Well, someone would definitely go to jail. Someone would certainly be detained for about 190 days, whatever they're doing. They'd definitely be detained in the worst possible conditions. Someone would get Harvey Weinstein. That's Isn't that not what Harvey Weinstein did? It's like the reverse of Harvey Weinstein on a tropical island. And let's throw in a little incest, see if we can do that. I mean, can we spice it up with a little incest? You know, it's big on porn right now. What the fuck are you guys doing? Like, why? I gotta stop. I gotta stop for a minute because I have an observation here. I'm in this shit. Like, I'm in this shit. I watch this stuff. You guys send me stuff. My Instagram's close, pushing like 70,000 followers, I think. I'm at 140 something followers on Twitter. I've got 204, whatever. I can mouth off about my numbers. I'm in this. People send me shit all the time. You know what's interesting to me is when I'm explaining this, or like people who will watch this show, honey, I know you're watching, honey, and by honey I mean Aaron, I know you're watching. Like people who are like, they're in it. Like Aaron Clary, for example, is in the Manosphere, but he's not of the Manosphere. Right? He's in this and he sees stuff, but every time like something new happens, he has to have it re-explained to him, and it's not a boomer moment. It's just he doesn't give two shits about it, right? And it has to be made important to him by somebody like some dumbass like me, right? Or I'm explaining something that's going on in the sphere, and my wife goes, "That's just fucking drama." And I'm like, yeah, it kind of is, because they have fresh eyes to all of this. But when I see this stuff and I figure, I have to go, what would normies think? What would people who don't do what I do, what would they think about this? Would they think MILF Manor is just a freaking abomination? Or would they go, I might give it a few shots. I might give it a few episodes. Like, what do normies think of MILF Island? And then what do normies think of Jeffrey Epstein? What do normies think of Harvey Weinstein? What do normies think of the Tates? Like the public perception. I haven't heard of them, but maybe once or twice I've seen it come up in my feed. Well, what do you think of them? Like, hell, they had the Sable brothers were doing like the man on the street interviews, and that was one of their questions. What do you think about the Tates? Well, they would ask, like, the people they were going to hit up, they would ask them, are you one of those Tate bros? Like the interviewees would ask them, and they'd be like, yeah, we are. And they'd be like, get the fuck. They would like want to fight you because of that, right? That's the perception that normies have. I'm like, it's one thing for me to have to explain this shit. It's another thing for me to sort of like get an idea of what people who've maybe heard a little bit, what they think of it. What do normies, what do people who don't follow, who aren't of the 1,600 people that are in the chat right now, you're part of an elite group. You're the elite core of not normies, I guess. Why would they do? Yeah. So I'm not going to dig into Tate right now. It's an ongoing investigation. Again, I'm Tate agnostic at this point. I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying they didn't. I don't think we have enough to make any kind of call. And I think it's irresponsible for a lot of people who are making videos about them right now to be making videos about them right now. Because you don't want tweets and videos to not age well. Let's just say that. Or age good, or to actually age well. We are shooting an episode on Passport Bros on our podcast tomorrow, looking for some good ideas. Well, then here's a good idea for you. If you're going to talk about Passport Bros on your show, then please also cover sexual tourism from women into like African countries. There's an idea for you. There's some material for you. Free. Here you go. You're a millionaire. Thanks for the content. Don't call it content. Thanks for the class. Thank you for the pod class. Thank you for the education. I don't do content. I do education. If all men you could compete with in the United States followed you to another country, would you still have a high level of success with women? I think it kind of depends, because you got to remember that half of the reason why not half the reason, but certainly a good portion of the reason why guys are considered attractive in other countries by women, like say in third world countries or in some places, certainly not socioeconomically speaking, are much lower on the scale than say the United States. And America, don't ask me how I know this, but trust me when I say this: when an American walks off the plane, the American male walks off the plane in the United States, in Manila, Quezon City, when he walks off the plane, trust me, the women know you're American, dude. Yeah, they know where you came from. The way you talk, the way you hold yourself, your height alone, okay, your pasty ass white, they know where you came from. My bigger see, I think here's the okay. I don't have a problem with the bros, like passport bros going and doing pragmatically doing what they're doing. Don't do it because you're trying to like throw hate at or throw shade at like American women. But if your reason for going out there is because that's hey man, I'm gonna fish where the fish are. If that's the reason you're there, great. But the other thing is you also have to remember that a woman's attraction to you, a Filipino woman, girl, young woman, whatever, in the Philippines who is attracted to a tall, let's just say 5'10" American white guy, her attraction to you, you cannot ignore the fact that there is a financial, transactional, provisional attraction that is part of that. And sometimes that's more important than whether you're hot or not, than whether you have game or not. And I think that's probably another aspect of this that needs to be discussed. If you wanted material, here's your material. Are you okay as a passport bro? Are you okay with a transactional relationship with a woman? Because even if it's not, you still have to factor that in your head that it could be, right? And mostly it probably is. You have a lot of money. That one dude just quoted this. He said, $60,000 is like $3 million in the Philippines. You walk off the plane with $60 million or $60,000 and you're $3 million and you're a multimillionaire. And you think, oh, she's hot for me, dude. That's like Fresh saying, oh, she loves me for me. You're gonna give him shit, but I can't like remind you of the fact that perhaps it's transactional. And if that's the case, if you're okay with going overseas to find a Filipino wife or I keep saying Philippines, but like wherever you want to go, because you think the women are more feminine, you think that you have a better chance, they respect you, they love you, they defer to your authority, whatever. Are they doing that because of you and their attraction, their genuine desire for you? Or are they doing that because they know it's the prospect of a better life? That's why women are saying, oh, it's pervy. But it's kind of ironic, of course, because women marry a lifestyle and not the guy. Even in the United States, that's true. So you have to take into account the transactional nature of what you're doing when you walk off the plane in Manila. So are you okay with that? Do you know that it's most likely you have to kind of like buffer your expectations of a woman? Oh, I love you. We love you a long time. You go, oh, yes. You want 3 women? We'll go. Anything for you, Poppy. Yeah. Oh, great, man. I'm like a king here. I got $3 million and I only had 1,000 fucking A. I must be the shit. No, you're not, because they're with you until the money runs out. They're with you until the prospect of a better life doesn't exist anymore. Why do they not get with guys who are, their own guys, their own nationality? Because they don't represent as good a prospect for a future, long-term security. Remember, women have to think about long-term security more than anything else in this life. They're the vulnerable sex. Even the women who are like alpha female, think they're alpha females and independent and all that. I got to get into that at some time too. But it all depends on, are you okay with the transactional nature of the relationship you're most likely, at least the pretense of it, that you're entering into with one of these girls, assuming that's what you want to do. Also, I got to cover, you want more ideas here. Are you going there because you're looking for a wife? Or are you going there because you just like fucking buffet? I'm going to go to the Philippines is the ice cream shop and I'm going to lick every fucking flavor. If that's why you're going out there, is that why guys go there? Or is it because they're looking for a wife? Are they looking for a long-term relationship? Are they looking for something that's like stable, secure? I want a feminine woman who respects me, wants to be with me because I'm the man, blah, 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 blah. You can make up reasons. There's always going to be the socioeconomic reason why she's attracted to you. Let's put that to the side right now. Are you going to those countries because you want to start a family, because you want to find a wife? Or are you going over there to spin plates? And I think that kind of needs to be clarified. Is there a difference? Like, do you have more respect for one who's going? Would women have more respect for you if you went over there and said, you know what, I couldn't find a wife in the United States because they're all fat and ugly and bitchy and everything, blah, blah, blah. And trust me, I've talked to guys who are very wealthy, who aren't poor. They have a lot more than $60,000 in the bank account, like by an order of magnitude, who are like, all the women in the United States are bitches, and all the women that I've ever met are fat. And 75% of the population, you'd probably be right. I'm going to go to Burma. I'm going to go to Thailand. I'm going to go wherever and find me a wife. Is the looking for the wife part the goal, or is it like I'm just going to go there and sample the goods? And I'm not. You don't have to be like just some wage slave guy with $60,000. You can be a dude who's worth like hundreds of millions of dollars and still think that that's a great idea. That's why I kind of got to give Passport Bros the benefit of the doubt, because it's not just about a socioeconomic reason for them to go over there, but that still is a factor in whether or not they are going over there to go like bang random 304s, or to find a quality woman and settle down and have little, giblets. What I would need to know what that is. And I would also like to know, is that like something that is more respectable for amongst the Passport Bros? Is it more respectable to want to go find a wife? Because these are the same guys, by the way, who will say, I would never wife up one of those girls on Access Vegas. I would never. They're all fake. They got fake boobs. They got fake lips. It's the Kardashianification of women today. They're all part of the problem. That's why I'm going off to freaking the Philippines. Fuck it, Rolo. I'm out. See you. Thanks. Bye. Right. But they're like, well, I would never wife up a woman like that. Well, if you're also anti-marriage, then what the fuck why was this even a conversation? I would never wife them up. I have more respect for myself than to wife them up. And then like two podcasts ago, never get married, dude. I'm totally against marriage. Then why are you talking about, why should I respect you for not wanting to wife up any of the girls that are on Access Vegas if you don't want to get married in the first place? Why do you have why do you have a problem with that? If all the men you couldn't compete with this, okay, let me keep going. I'm going to run these out because what are we down to? We're at 25% battery right now. War breaks out. Women are most affected, of course. Oh, by the way, in fact, of course they are. Would you like me to show you how they are? Here we go. Where did I know? Chacuse. I have this on tap for you. There we go. You can't. God, you guys can't even read that. Maybe you guys can. Ukraine's first lady. Women are bearing the brunt of war. There it is, my friends. There it is. Women most affected. Guys dying in droves. Oh, and by the way, that's the Ukrainian women, by the way. Meanwhile, in Mother Russia, women are ratting out their husbands and their boyfriends or their baby daddies or quote unquote allegedly deadbeat dads to Russian officials, so they'll get picked up, drafted, and go and forced into conscription so that they'll go fight the war in the Ukraine. And the ladies will get a death benefit if baby daddy gets killed over there. Got lots of video. That I do have studies for. That I do have videos for. Michaela, I think I've shown one about 4 or 5 months ago when all this shit started, right? Yes. Well, they're all drunks. They're all bad dads. They're all, I don't care. Here's where my ex-husband is. Here's where my baby daddy is. Putin, go get him and draft him. Put him in the army, dies. She gets benefits. Women most affected. Keep that in mind. Ukraine and Mother Russia are two different animals, my friends. Very, very much so. Let's see. Oh my God, did I catch up? I don't think I caught up, did I? I never said I didn't want to get married. I just want to find a wife that won't embarrass me. You can't find it here? So if that's the case, okay, what? Say you want to get married on your terms. I love that. I'm not again, Chris, I'm not pointing fingers at you, brother. You want me to? I will. I'll dig that up here in just a second. I gotta finish out these super chats before I go dark here. Yeah, it will definitely not be a 5-hour podcast. I can tell you that right now because I do not have the battery strength to do so. Rolo, every time relationship is transactional, men have been paying for relationships since the dawn of time. Yes, they have. Okay. Now, so does that mean marriage is prostitution? And by order of degree, I wonder. So if you're going to say that marriage is prostitution, and I've had this discussion a million times before. If you're going to say that, what's going on here? Oh, Jesus. Okay. If you're going to say that marriage is prostitution, you have to rank the prostitution, right? So if you can say a streetwalker on OBT and in Orlando, Orange Blossom Trail in Orlando, that's prostitution. That should be illegal. I might agree with you. Okay, fine. What about OnlyFans? Is OnlyFans prostitution? We asked Brandy that on Access Vegas on Thursday, and she said yes. And even she had the discussion with her soon-to-be husband, and they both agree. Yes, it's a form of prostitution. It's sex transactional. Well, let's just say it's vicarious sex for money. It's a transaction, right? And on some level, and again, Juan, I've had this discussion with Aaron Clary several times, is that when you look at marriage, or you look at even like an LTR, like if you have a woman who lives with you, is that prostitution? She's living with you. She lives under your house. She's paying the bills, or maybe you're paying more than she is. If you're paying more than she is, and then she's still having sex with you, is it prostitution? If she makes as much or more than you now are you the gigolo? Like, how does that play out? There's always going to be a transactional nature to every relationship, not just like men and women, but also like a transactional relationship between friends. Okay. I did this for you. There's this expectation. And by the way, it's not just human beings. It's also pretty much every animal. Every higher order animal, in mammals, right? There's a sense of justice and fairness amongst animals. So they've done like studies where they would give a monkey a grape and the other one like would get a rock. And the other monkey would have like a grape and he'd eat the grape, and like the other monkey got a rock, and then they would give the same monkey a grape again, and the guy gets another rock. It's like, what the fuck is this, right? And the other monkey who had the grape will give the grape to the monkey who got the rock. And that's just a stupid, bonehead example of this, but they've done other like more complex studies of this, of the sense of fairness, or the sense of, I'm not saying that they're all egalitarians. I'm just saying that they're like, oh man, you got a rock again? That's pretty fucked up. Here, have my grape, monkey. And they would have it, right? There's this sort of sense of, I would say it's altruism. You could call it like kin altruism, but you can also call it like compensatory, right? So I'm doing this for the future advantage, and like I'm giving you this now because I might need you to help me out later. That's transaction. So is that prostitution? Prostitution is the sex part, but the transactional side, you're always going to be dealing with transactions. So I think it's just by order of degree. Catching up. You leave my trucking job alone. I'm not trying to think. You know who is? The guys who are trying to make automatic trucks. I saw Westworld. I know what it's all about. More than likely, my perspective, we will be replaced in 7 to 15 years as AI FSD tech reaches a level. So, okay. Let's keep going. Here we go. He turned $60,000 into $3 million with one simple trick. Buy my course for $500. Yeah. Is Passport Bro turning into like a grift? That I don't know. Is it like, hey, I did this and you can do it too, for watch my in 7 simple steps. Number 4 will surprise you. Are people like actually commodifying this now? Because I am unfamiliar with the people who are commodifying Passport Bros. What else do we have here? What else do we have on the docket today? Glenn Lawrence. I believe Kenya recently passed a law making it illegal for women from foreign countries to file for custody for passport gals. I would like to see the link to that. A link to that if you have it. Hypergamy. Would you like me to explain hypergamy, honey? Let's see. Rolo, are you going to talk about Alex from Dating Site? Yes, I am. Just can I like get one settle down there, Beavis. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much. I see a lot of people testing your material. Cough, cough, Ruslan. Cough. It's funny how quick, I gotta say, I saw that on Purple Pill podcast with Mike and Tori, and I knew it was coming up anyways. I was actually responsible for giving Sergio a bunch of those questions. I give and I give and I give. And what do you guys do? You shit all over me, right? Ruslan is coping. No, you know what Ruslan is doing? He's adapting to his market. Because he's a marketeer. I mean, let's be honest. He's in it for his channel. If he wasn't in it for his channel, he would be wearing anything other than branded merchandise on every fucking appearance he has. Right? You want to prove me wrong, Ruslan? Show up in a white t-shirt to your next interview. And then that will tell me that you're not really all about the brand. You're not all brand. But again, I hate to say it, but I would have said the same thing about Jedediah back in July. I would have said, oh man, she's hopeless. I think Ruslan is probably, he's realizing he has to adapt to his market. And part of that adaptation is sort of being like, he's got to glad hand people. He's got to like give people their props and their flowers every now and then. I think one of the reasons why people don't like him all that much is because he seems like a flip-flopper and he seems like he's very wishy-washy. And I can point out several occasions, particularly with Andrew Tate, where he has been. Oh, really? Yes, I know. I'm aware. Thank you. Hey, thank you very much for that $50. If I had oh wait, I do have this. I can give you that again. There you go. I have to do it by hand. Sorry. It's it's analog. Sometimes it goes off twice. Sometimes it goes off 3 times. Hang on. That's what I get for like doing the replay. Okay. You get 3 for $50. That's a bargain. Little for an extra battery backup. Thank you. Mm-hmm. No, it's just, yeah, battery backup for my brain. I just forgot to bring the power cord. The real power cord. I can still use the USB, which is great technology. All right, what is here? To the guys who are thinking of flying off over here, make sure your game is tight. Where are you? Too many stories here. Oh, and Panay women extorting betas for everything they have. Yeah, see, that's another thing. As soon as like by the way, the guys in Kenya was part of the article that I was working on with John for John McKellen for the sexual tourism for the women. That one, the guys like the black men, the young black men in those beach towns and where I don't know. I want to say it's the Eastern Africa and probably like Ivory Coast. I don't know where else they go, but they were all talking about how the men would like figure out like who the big fish are. And they would pass them around, or they would like find ways to like pull more money out of them. So it becomes a grift for them too. Same thing with Pinay women. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you see the money coming in, there's going to be people who are going to find a hack, or they're going to play you. Okay. All right. I had a special request, and I'm going to talk about it here in just a second. But it's all going down in flames anyway. Too late to save anything. Just enjoy the show. You know what? The crowning moment, the crowning. If I have accolade, if I don't have any trophies on my shelf for the red pill. I mean, I got the plaque from YouTube. Thank you very much, YouTube. But I don't have any trophies on my shelf. I have this nice mug to drink the tears of Dr. Phil from, the defeated skull of my enemy. He has decided that he is canceling the show. I'm just right place, right time. It's just funny. It's just a funny coincidence, by the way. Most likely they just decided not to pick up his contract in 2023. He knew about that. Again, probably the reason why the show I did recorded in the middle of November. Don't think that was something recent, by the way. Don't they know that the Tates are in jail? Yeah, but not in November 15th, 2022. We didn't. However, when my crowning achievement, if I have to remember, if I can just, if I am on my deathbed and I'm trying to remember my life and I only remember one point in that show, it will be when Dr. Phil goes, well, why does it all matter? Who cares? What difference does it make? That right there, that quote, I mean, very stupid, very brief, whatever. I'll remember that because that's a normie reacting to the oncoming extinction of his brand, the oncoming extinction of what he's been doing for 21 some odd years and probably longer than that. That right there sums up everything. And not just the words, but just like the attitude and just the confusion. That's why. Because when I go on there and I'm speaking the language of empiricism and everybody wants to drag me back into the language of emotionalism, when the final crowning moment, the cherry on the top of the freaking ice, the banana split, right? Well, why does it all matter? That's frustration in not being able to drag the conversation back to the emotional. Glorious victory. Let's see. Man, you guys are very, very active. I should have just done a Q&A today. 1,600 watching, but only 800 likes. Get those likes up because they matter in the algorithm. Let's see. Let's see here. You know, I'm holding strong at about 1600 today. That's pretty good for me being on the fly here. Rollo, curious question: who died and made Markayla? You mean Jorkayla Peterson? An expert on men's issues. It's funny how she, the Daily Wire, and Fox News have something in common, such as the believing in the guy, such as believing in the gynocracy. Well, I'm glad somebody said it because that was my next point. All right, so there is most definitely something going on between Daily Wire. There's most definitely something going on with all conservative media right now. I was made aware of this because of the situation that happened between Steven Crowder and Daily Wire. Steven Crowder is right on, spot on, accurate when he says it is big con right now. It's not all of the tactics that they complain about the wokies and cancel culture. Trust me on this. Take this to the bank. That they will use those same tactics against their own people. They already have. They did it to Crowder. Daily Wire already did it to him. Now, just to clear the air here, I was not able to elaborate on this very much on Access Vegas or on Rule Zero. I didn't want to get too deep into the weeds here, but this is my show, and I know people expect me to talk about this. Yes, I did see John Anthony Lifestyle on Adam Sosnick's show. I think it was Thursday. I think it was right prior to Access Vegas, as a matter of fact. And man, I was coming in hot. I told Mike, I said, dude, I cannot be held responsible for what I'm going to say today because I'm pissed off like you would not believe. And I showed it to him. And Mike also, of course, has a history with John Anthony, right? And this is a guy who has taken great efforts to expose my wife and to dox my wife and to dox my daughter and to dox my mother-in-law. This is the guy who is responsible, like indirectly responsible for guys hunting down my daughter at her address or knowing that she goes to this particular school. I'm not going to mention. She's not there anymore. Don't worry. But this is the guy who's directly responsible for that and has done nothing else but do that. So, Adam, if you're watching and you're wondering why you're blocked and I'm not having anything to do with you, this is the reason. Okay. I didn't know. No, that's the problem. You didn't know. So when I'm a little bit heated about this, I'm still going to get worked up. So here we go. But when I'm watching this and you're propping this guy up as legitimate, you don't know that he is like John Anthony has been, and I'll say his name, the fat kid in Brazil. I will say his name and I will tell you the truth about it right now. He was arrested for kidnapping. He has a criminal record. He was a arrest record for kidnapping, dangerous, unwilling imprisonment. There's another. I've got I'll tell you what. I will send you. Actually, I already did. I sent Jedediah his rap sheet, his arrest record. I sent the articles that were written about him in 2014. You have no idea who this guy is. And this is the same guy. By the way, truth as God is my witness, and you probably already know this. And if you didn't know this, you sure the fuck should have known this. Is that John Anthony is the same guy who brought Justin Waller's mom on his show and did this whole exploited his mom on his show. So I'm just going to tell you right now, dude, this is why I'm not working with you guys anymore. Done. I'll work with Jed. And by the way, yes, I will. Somebody asked me in the chat if I would. Absolutely. In fact, she was the first one I called and I said, or I texted to. I said, look, don't have this guy on your show. You will regret having this guy on your show. Because I knew if Adam's got him, she's probably going to want to get him on too. I said, you will regret having this guy on your show. Then, of course, even if he didn't know or he didn't remember that John Anthony Lifestyle was the guy who took Justin Waller's mom and put him on and had this interview trying to do a hit piece on Justin Waller. And the reason why you can't find it right now is because the Tates and the War Room leaned on him and he took it down within 24 hours. But trust me, there's most likely there's an archive of it somewhere. Justin knows who I'm talking. You want to confirm it? Go talk to Justin Waller. He knows. I'm sure he doesn't want to discuss it anymore either. But somebody leaned on John Anthony Lifestyle to remove that video, and within 24 hours. Of course, the videos of me and the videos of my wife and the videos that include pictures of my daughter at her high school graduation, that's still up on there. That's still there. He's still got that going. The bullshit when he was reading the book, The Irrational Male, that Anthony Johnson commissioned this guy named Boaz, who no fuck knows who he is, to write the hit piece book. No one cared about it. There's like 6 reviews on it. Nobody even knows what it is. But it was being passed around to all the people that I work with that, oh, Rollo's a fraud. Don't work with him anymore. It was this politics, and it was like an effort in career, personality, reputation, sabotage, and assassination. And you know who read it? You know who had the only one who did a review of it? Yeah, you guessed it, the fat kid in Brazil. That's why I'm not working with you. Also, dude, 1,500 lay count? 1,560, I think. Are we up to 1,600? Who the fuck knows now? Is that where we're at? I don't know. Of those, there's like, he's admitted to having like sex with 4 transsexuals are in his notch count. Just nobody wanted to ask that. And but they did want you to ask that. They did want you to ask that. I wanted you to ask that. I wanted you to ask him how much money Anthony Johnson paid him to do hit piece videos on me, including doxing my wife and my daughter and my mother-in-law, for fuck's sake. How much money did he take? What was his like 30 pieces of silver? Well, you didn't get to hear that. You didn't get, you did, but later. But you didn't get to hear that because Natalia suddenly lost all the chats at the end of that show. And they read some in the middle. But when it got to the end, which, by the way, is a very bad habit, and people aren't going to stop. In fact, I'll tell you this. Stop super chatting on Adam's show. If you follow me and you follow him, stop super chatting. You won't get it read. You want to know why I'm on like this crusade to read all of you guys' super chats? That's why. I want you to get your money's worth. I understand why like some shows can only read like 25 and up because there's so many. But at least acknowledge the ones that are 25 and up. And so the reason why she suddenly magically lost all the super chats, which she didn't, because later on we found them, is because they didn't want to confront him like that. They didn't know who they had sitting right there. Or if they did, then they didn't want to read those. And so why? Well, Rolla, why is that a problem? Well, maybe it's an honest mistake. Maybe it was. It could be. But trust me, the chat was going ape shit. And you know the chat was going ape shit. You see it. You can see the playback. You can see the playback right now. So it's not like an internet beef when your daughter is threatened. It's not an internet beef. Oh, these guys, it's drama. No, it's not drama. It's like the politics of personal assassination is what it is. It's, I'm going to show up your house. You want to know why I have security cameras at my condo here? That's why. This motherfucker right here. That's why. Or him, Alex from Playing with Fire, Anthony Johnson, all the guys. There's other people too I can name off. These are the only ones that anybody knows. Yeah, that's why. I'm not saying you have to be like godlike knowledge of all this shit, but if you're going to present yourself as an authority, and if you're going to have that guy on your show and prop him up as being legitimate, oh, really? 1560? That's your notch count? Wow, that's quite an accomplishment. Dude, do you know mathematically what that would be? Do you have any idea? Unless he's got like, having orgies on every weekend, and everyone in the orgy is like there to fuck him and there to walk through. Sterling Cooper, who used to work in porn, who was a male porn star, I bet his notch count isn't even that high. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm just spitballing here. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have 1,500 in God knows how many years. So use your fucking head. That's number one. Number two is it's either malicious or it's ignorance. One or the other. In this case, I'm talking to Myron, I was talking to Mike. It's like, hey, maybe they just didn't know. Maybe they didn't know. I'm like, no, they knew because they had Alex from Playing with Fire on there like 2 or 3 times, right? They knew. Once is an accident, twice is malicious. So you don't do your background checks on these guys. You didn't know. Most likely you had no idea what I'm talking about Justin Waller's mom. You don't know about his criminal background. You don't know about his sexual assault background. You don't know how he has been a career grifter and has built basically, he's like, oh, I did a few crass videos about those guys. No, dude, every fucking video you do, you built a brand on personal attacks. That's you. That's what you, people will never remember you for, oh, I'm going to teach you about game. They're going to remember you for when you came at me, when you came at John Anthony, or when you came at John MLD, when you came at Rich, when you came at whoever Anthony was pissed off at the time. That's when you did an attack video because you're a shill. You're not even it's not even a question at this point. Go look at the backlog. And that's why I say this isn't ignorance on Adam's part or Valuetainment's part. It's not ignorance. It's there. It's right fucking there. Like how much can I excuse? So you could say, well, it's ignorance. Well, that's even worse than if it was malice. Because if you're going to prop yourself up as an authority in this position, you're as bad as Michaela Peterson on Fox News at this stage. You're as bad as that. It's that performance that we just observed just a minute ago. That's just as bad. Oh, how could she be up there? Why would they even have her on? Why would she's not an authority on men's employment involvement? No, she's not. She's a autistic child. It's like Greta Thunberg. Why don't you ask her? She probably have a better take than Michaela Peterson. But you don't. You don't care to because you're not about it. You're about whatever the brand is. That's what I mean. It's all brand and no man. It's all, I keep saying this. It's like, it's your Ziggy Stardust moment, man. You become Caesar Flickerman from Catching Fire, right? From Hunger Games. That's where this shit is headed. Like the only next step is, why don't you just get Anthony Johnson? Why don't you just be done with it and get Anthony Johnson on there? If you're going to have him, you might as well go all the way. I mean, for fuck's sake. And then finally, will people who like are listening to me rave about this shit, then will you fucking take it seriously? Then will you stop? We would not, in Rule Zero, we would not work with anybody who would work with Anthony Johnson. Congratulations, you made the list. But what's worse is Valuetainment and Patrick Bet-David and Adam Sosnick and pretty much and it's a noble mission statement to, well, they're challenging the woke, and we want to, push back against the matrix, and we want to, cancel culture this, we're going against that. We're going to go talk to Tate in Madrid. We're going to go do all this stuff. We're the anti-woke. Great. Awesome. We hate cancel culture. But yet you'll use the same tactics as cancel culture, which is silence the other side. Don't read the super chats. And by the way, I looked up the money for that. I believe there's like about $600 or so of super chats. I can't say exactly because he did read some in the middle, but like there was at least $600 or $700 in super chats on that show. How many of those guys paid to have their because I was one of them, to have their super chats read to challenge not only you, but also John Anthony? Why wasn't that read? But it was read. It was read by me, and it was read by Mike on Thursday on Access Vegas, because there they were. We're like, well, Natalia won't read them, so Mike and I read them. So if you want to know what those super chats were, ladies, gentlemen, you can find it at the end of Access Vegas from Thursday. We read them out loud. Those are the ones that they didn't want you to hear. Those are the ones that they canceled. So when Steven Crowder goes at Daily Wire, when Steven Crowder says big con, when Steven Crowder says, I turned down, they wanted to give me $50 million, and they're saying, oh, well, it was like NBA money, or it was like sports, athlete money and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but there's a lot more to it. Go watch the Tim Pool interview. I have a new respect for Steven Crowder. That's what I'm talking about. It's pushback time. Who's the authority? Why? And by the way, getting back to that whole thing, you look at these conservative media right now. You look at PragerU, you look at Daily Wire, you look at really the Blaze too, I guess, who let go of Crowder. You look at these new, it's a big con. And I would say that I make a prediction right now. Daily Wire will buy out PragerU at some point. It's in the cards. And Jedediah, if you're watching this show, please don't take the bait. Please don't get poached by Daily Wire. I have my suspicions that they're probably sweet talking you. They're trying to poach you right now. I think you're better sold than you would ever be at the Daily Wire. That's all I'm going to say about it. Do better. They will not do jobs to build or lay bricks or fix. Thank you. Okay, well, we'll keep going. Let's see. I will do my best to read all the rest of these. War breaks out. Women most affected. I showed you that one already. In the States. Okay, I got that. Okay, I have some starred. I'll get back to. I know I haven't skipped you. Don't worry. I will get to them. I have them starred here, so I can come back to them. It's really easy to do and StreamYard to save the super chats so you can read them at the end of the show. Let's see. Okay. What? Rolo, curious question. Who died? Okay, okay, that was for Michaela. Sorry, I got to go down. I'm going to scroll down again here. And I have to do one special thing. Hold on. And yes, I had some more video, but I'm not going to be able to get to it because I'm at, what am I at now? 17% battery power. So 7% more, and we got to end the show. To the guys who are thinking of flying over here, make sure. Okay, I got you. I'm gonna have to rifle through these. Keep doing what you're doing. I already get that one. Thank you, Christopher Harris. You're an awesome dude. I do actually, as odd as this is going to sound, I do hold out hope for Ruslan at some point, but maybe I'm being Pollyanna about that. Okay, I got you to the trucking guy. That was you. Rolo, relationships are transactional. Yes, I know. We go look at the book of Numbers if you want my opinion on that. Chris, I never said. Okay, I got to you. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This has been a pretty good show considering. Hey, I know this dude. I know that dude. Is there any meaningful difference between a 1% in Europe, aka Tate, versus a localized 1%er, aka expat in the Philippines? When saying, remember the beta buck side of hypergamy. All right. I'm going to keep going because I know that's Jim, and I'll answer your question off air. Ooh, hello. Don Tomasi, thank you. You're welcome, Josie Wales. Outlaw, Josie Wales. I've been right. Oh man, I should make an. I need to make an announcement. What'd you say? And you think Crowder's part of that? I don't think he's part of that. At least Crowder is like got the balls to like push back. He's definitely pushed back. You can't disagree with that. I know, John Anthony Johnson, you know, Tony Malone. Good morning from Manila. Hey, and this is not a. By the way, today's episode, I mentioned the Philippines quite a bit. This is not necessarily a reach out to Filipina P, what the hell her name is, but good morning. It's funny because like she's. If you don't know, do you know Filipina P? I don't know if you do. There's a little girl. They're all little girl in the Philippines who's got a podcast. I want to say it's like Filipina P, something like that. And she's from the Filipino girl, and I guess her channel is all about getting passport bros to come to the Philippines. And she used like something I said, like just kind of in passing, as a quote in one of her shows, and I'm like, that's pretty good marketing. You go, hey, she's on the ball. You know why men are exiting the workforce? That's why, because she takes initiative. She's a self-starter, right? Thank you, Filipina P. What is the name of that chick? I don't know. Let's see. Great line from De Niro in Casino, one of my all-time favorite movies. Speaking of Sosnick, either he was in on it, or he was too stupid to see what was happening. See, thank you very much. And that was that Danny DeVito that did that? No, it was Joe Pesci. Yeah. I would say it's either never. What do they say? Never attribute to malice what can be explained by stupidity, right, or ignorance, right? I'm starting to believe that like maybe malice is maybe a little bit bigger deal than most people want to say it is or not. So let's see. Oh, wait. Hey, Miguel. Oh, no, Mike wants me to do something. Okay, hang on. I got one of the things when I'm doing this, I've got like multiple, like I got my phone here, I got my tab here, I got everything going on at once. So pardon me. Bet David is recently parroting the same fatherlessness is the problem line from Prager. Yes, because Prager, Valuetainment, Daily Wire. At some point, now don't quote me on this. I would not be surprised if there was some sort of amalgamation of all of them and under one roof, under one umbrella. 5 hours is spent talking to Tate, 2 hours with you, but still doesn't get it. No, he gets it. That's just the problem. He gets it. He knows where he knows which side. He knows where the butter is and where the bread is and how to butter the bread. And again, not faulting him. Everybody else does that too. I'm keeping Icy for ransom. Sorry, Rolo. Zach's got. Okay, yeah, no. You don't get Icy. I get Icy this weekend. If she's watching, I'm still doing the show for at least another 4% of the battery here. Let's see. I will get to you. Don't worry. I'll get you. I'll catch you. I got you, man. I called that shit about Natalia and the chats back in Ruslan debate. When I was noticed she wouldn't read two, I posted that had the names of Peterson. It's nothing new. Of course it is. Well, I mean, people do that all the time. What the thing that gets me is I remember my day. I can remember when I was seeing people who, like, I remember the first time I got doxxed. The first time I got doxxed ever in my life was when Roosh came at me. And this was in 2015. This is when Roosh wasn't like Roosh Jesus is today, right? It was right after he did his Dr. Oz episode. And I didn't have I was like, I mean, you look kind of bad on it. And he knew he looked bad. But then he tried to play it off as if he had been ambushed by Dr. Oz. And I knew that that was a lie. I knew a falsehood, let's just say. He was trying to present the perception that he went on the show and it wasn't about what he wanted to be. And I understand that. I could have even gone with that, except for the fact that prior to him going on Dr. Oz's show, he had written a very lengthy article. And the title of it was Dr. Oz is full of shit, or Dr. Oz's, empire, or his show is run by his wife, which it is. He wrote that on Return of Kings, which was his old blog. And I was like, you knew what you weren't ambushed, brother. You knew what you were getting into, like even as far back as a year ago. And I would provide the links and everything. I basically called him on his bullshit. I don't care if you went on the show. I don't care what the fuck you do. But don't lie to the people. Don't lie to your people. Don't lie to my people, because my people were his people too. Like we all shared the same audience. I wasn't trying to attack him. I just wanted like a little bit of like integrity that I had thought was inherent in the sphere at the time. And it never really was. It never really came to be. So I called him on that. And what happens? I get blocked. I was blocked that day. And what happened is, as a result of that, all his guys started coming at me and they tried to dox me. It was the first time I was ever doxed. And Roosh told his people, don't dox Rollo. Even though we were like beefing with each other, right? And it wasn't even a beef. It was just like, I just wanted some responsibility, right? But he told his people in the Roosh V forum, like, cut the shit, right? They deleted it. They would not dox. We don't use the tactics of the woke. We don't use the tactics of cancel culture against our own, even when we're, back and forth. And again, I'm still blocked. I haven't said one word to Roosh in probably 8 years now. But he did stop his guys from doxing me. It used to be that doxing somebody was like the last taboo. And the reason for that is because it was the tactics of the woke. But now, flash forward to 2019, you got guys in the 21 convention who have no problem, no qualm whatsoever. In fact, they will go to such an extent that they will hire other people to be proxies for them so that the shit doesn't come back on them when you know that it's them, because they're using the exact same wording over and over again, so that they can dox you, so they can use the tactics of the people that they claim to hate so much. They will resort to those tactics. And trust me, this is just like in my sphere. Trust me, this will be repeated by Daily Wire and all Big Con. Guarantee it. They will resort to that, the same tactics. They will become the people they hate. Trust me on that. Okay, I misspoke. Laws to arrest women seeing hookups in Africa country. Sent you. Okay, thank you. Please just send that to me, man. Don't interrupt. Pat Stedman's Polish passport. Okay, you gave me that already. Thanks, brother. Okay, now I got to get here to your stars. I'm going to get back to the starred ones here. Trying to clarify. Oh, I already starred you. You're already out. Okay. Been in the sphere since I was 16. Glad you could be my first super chat. Thank you. And I read it. Viral Shorts. Rollo, curious question. Who died and made Jordan Peterson the answer to masculinity? He's not even the clinical psychologist. Okay, I already answered that one too already. Thank goodness. Where do you think the next generation of kids will come from? Okay, I did. Please, did I keep these? I answered that too. Glenn Lawrence, thank you. If you're going to be a passport bro, if your frame isn't attractive enough for now, for the girls in the States, you won't be attractive enough to keep your foreign wifey in your frame. I don't know. Do you think that's true? There was a guy. Oh gosh, how did this slip my mind? There was a way back in the day, back in my day, there was an aggregate blog. It was called In Malafide. It's a Latin. And it was Matt Forney was the guy who was a proprietor of it. I actually kind of liked the guy for a while, and he kind of like went weird later on. But he used to go to, he was a passport. He was an early, he went to how do I know about Passport Bros? He was one. And I used to talk to him about it. He went to the Philippines went there thinking he was the pussy promised land. He comes back, he writes an article, and the first thing he says is exactly what Glenn just said. If you don't have game in the United States, you're not going to have game in the Philippines either. You will have it's on easy mode, but if you don't know how to, if you have zero social skills in the United States, you still take zero social skills to the Philippines. So you're either an easy mark or it's still difficult for you. Maybe not as much as it would be in the United States, but this is Matt Forney. This is not Rollo Tomasi. This is Matt Forney who said this. It says, if you don't have game in the US, you will not have game in the Philippines. I'm just reporting the news here. I'm not a passport bro, never have been, probably never will be. If pickup is dead, how do I pick up girls? You read the Player's Handbook, my friend. Corey Wayne's book is a good starting point, but it's incomplete. Yeah, it might be. Hey, Rollo, is the Rational Male series done? What's next? Yes, it is done. It is officially, I'm killing it at 5 books. My next book, as far as Red Pill is concerned, thank you for the segue here. The next thing I'm publishing, the next Rollo Tomasi literature. God damn it. See, look, passport bros. The next literature that I will be publishing will be in a short story. It'll be a 25,000 word short story, and it's going to be in an anthology of pulp red pill fiction. I didn't come up with that. That was Vince from Masculine Geeks. So he's one of the authors. TJ Martinelli is going to be one. Myself, Drew Bay, and I think we got 2 other authors as well. So there's going to be a few authors. We're making an anthology of short stories because we keep talking about this. We're like, well, if you want to be the change you want to be the change you want to see in the universe, we're doing that. So this is my first stab at fiction. Please be gentle. But I'm writing it from a perspective that I don't care about woke. I don't care about anything. I'm just writing a good story. There's no strong independent women because we need strong independent women. In fact, I have very few. I think I've got 1 woman in the entire story. But it's Pulp Fiction. So some of it's sci-fi, some might be fantasy, some might be I don't know, maybe gumshoe detective stuff too. I don't know what the other guys are doing, quite honestly. I know what I'm doing. But I think you will enjoy it. But so the next literature that I will actually be publishing in print will be that Red Pill anthology. So there you have it. As far as the Red Pill is concerned, I will be producing a new book called it'll be the Book of Maxims or something. I'm going to name it Maxims. What I'm doing is collecting the most common maxims of the Manosphere and the Red Pill, and I'm putting them all together in sort of like a compilation so that people can easily understand it. So we can avoid people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm trying to even the people who I criticize, I try to still, here's a book, read these, and you will know what to talk about when you're on a show and you're like, I don't know. Like, you will know now because here's the book that you need to read. It's going to be a Red Pill compilation of maxims that have been around for like 20 some odd years, because you'll hear them and people will think they're just spicy hot takes. Like, for instance, like you throw women make rules for betas and they break rules for alphas. That's a maxim. So I will like explain that in a few pages, and then we move on to the next one. It seems like people need that and they want that, so they can like it's like people need simplicity, I guess. And so I'm going to give you simplicity, but these things have been around for a long time. Why do we say what we say? Why do we think what we think? How do we come to the law? How do we solve that equation? That's what it's going to be about. Whiskey. Rollo, what are your thoughts on The Basic Law of Human Stupidity by Robert Greene's predecessor, Carl Chappell? I've never read that, dude, so I can't give you an educated answer. Hey, Rollo, do you think that Passport Bros method will go mainstream enough to where the third world will turn into the American way, turn the American woman of this day? Yeah. People will push back and argue with me on this. I think we're already there, to be honest with you. In fact, if you read my 4th book, I make the case that we're already there. Because if you have a cell phone, women have the perception. The actuality might be completely different, but they have the perception that they are participating in a global sexual marketplace. A girl in the Philippines who is interacting with Drake, or who she thinks is Drake, in the United States, thinks that, what does that do to a woman's like sort of ego? Well, it builds that up, right? Myron and Fresh talk about this all the time. You could be a woman in Butte, Montana, and still think that you're dealing with like rappers and athletes and rock stars in other states or in other countries, as a matter of fact. Now, here's where they drop the ball. Well, I'm saying this is where Destiny drops the ball, because I heard the debate between the two of them. He says, how common do you think that is? More common than you think. And it's not that they're actually getting flued out. It's the idea that they could be flown out. That's where you missed the boat, right? I would have thrown that. I'm not trying to flame anybody. I'm just saying that that's what should have been considered. It's not the actuality of, oh, these girls aren't getting flown out from, the University of Washington or wherever, Paducah, Kentucky. They're not getting flown out. How many people are really getting that? Very few, very minutely few, not 50 or 30% fresh, sorry. But the 30%, 50% believe in the possibility that it could happen. They think that they're participating in this Instagram global sexual marketplace's global culture. That's the problem. Not the actuality of women getting flown out or women actually getting like swooped by Drake. It's the fact that women think that they could. They believe that the possibility could happen. That limits them from getting with a guy who would be a perfectly good husband or a perfectly good boyfriend at Arizona State University, right? Wherever the hell they're at. It's the perception. You got to remember that perception is very powerful. So that's that. Let's see. So are they going to turn into American women? We've already done it. That's why that was really the premise of the fourth book. Passport Bros community thanks you for bringing attention to our awesome movement. Okay. Is it a movement? Is it really a movement? Because I don't think it's a movement. Like, what even constitutes a movement? It's not a movement. I mean, it's a tactic. It's an okay. Well, I'm happy to make public your adaptations. Your not your cope, but your end around, your work around. Fish where the fish are. Pragmatism. I'm always happy to expose pragmatism in all of its ugly forms. Black pill and MGTOW are forms of PTSD for those guys that find out that women are really what women are really attracted to. And those guys are offshoots of gamma males that want women to think about sex relationships the way they do. And the way, okay, very good. I'm not going to, I'd say you're half right. Let me carry you over to the edge here. We talk about gamma males. You talk about secret kings. Yes. Oh, they should. But I think if there's a section, there's a part about the Passport Bros that bugs me. It's the idea that they are getting one over on those American women by going over. The American women don't care. They think you're pervs, right? They don't care. So why should you care? If you're really about, I don't make women. This is what defines MGTOW as far as I'm concerned. It's not making women the metric of your self-worth, correct? Can we at least have that? I know that there's like the really extreme ends of the MGTOW, but I think we can all agree in as far as MGTOW is concerned, you don't make women the metric and the measurement of your self-worth or your self-esteem or what you think. Again, it comes back to like a mental point of origin. I think we can agree on that. Okay. So with that in mind, from that perspective right there, as far as the gamma males and the offshoots, this whole thing right here with the relationship they do, when we're talking about guys who are sort of like trying to figure out, I'm not as attractive in this country as I would be in another. It's simply pragmatism at that point. But I can't deny that because if you're not making women the metric of your life, then it shouldn't matter to you that you're getting one over on American women. You shouldn't care. It shouldn't be like, yeah, man, finally get her. We're going to go Passport Bro and get these girls. It's the same guys who would like tune into Kevin Samuels or Fresh and Fit, and they love the red meat aspect of it. If you're into Passport Bros because it's just like, yeah, finally we get our revenge. If that's your whole thing, then you care about what women think about you, and therefore you just go fuck yourself because you don't get it at that point. All right. Let's see. But it didn't cipher that part. Asked not to remember anything when he's plugged back in. Yeah, but will he? I don't want to remember nothing. Wouldn't that have been the final revenge of like the Matrix if they're like, yeah, we'll make you famous, but you're going to remember everything about the real world? Yeah, actually, thanks for correcting that. That is true. Who else calling cap on John Anthony's one? Yeah, he is cap. Mathematically, that's kind of impossible. Oh, by the way, you probably saw the I have it here too. I could call it up, but like, in fact, I will. Hang on. Let's see if I can do this here quick at the end. Where did I put this? Not that one. Not that one. No, it was a Peterson clip here, real quick. If I can give you this at the end. Oh, this is great. Okay, you guys have probably already seen this, but I'll throw it up.
Imagine that you sleep casually with 100 women in a 6-month period or a 3-month period, for that matter, or a 3-week period. I don't care. Pick your time frame.
Okay, let me stop right there. I just wanted to play that one little part. 100 women in a 3-week period, really? I suppose that might be possible at hedonism during like maybe like Paradise Challenge, according to rumor. I wouldn't know. But dude, if that's the premise of like what comes after this, you want to like you're gonna come at me and say, Roland Tomas get no hoes. He doesn't know anything about it. But you're gonna hold Peterson up as like some legitimate authority, and that's how he begins the premise for like promiscuity. Oh, really?
And you're ecstatic with yourself because you've been validated by this opportunity. And I'm not making light of that. It's not nothing to be attractive to women like that. It's really something to be attractive to women like that. And I also don't think it does your soul any good, because the problem with treating other people as casual sexual partners, let's say, is that you also treat yourself that way simultaneously.
The reason I brought this up and I even I plugged this was because we were on Access Vegas and we talked about exactly this. We always do. We talk about not body count. Everybody let's talk about body count. Who the fuck is having like who gets 100 partners in 3 weeks? Please, somebody educate. There's got to be somebody like legitimately. We track this guy. I mean, some guy with like 1 billion kids and like I don't know, in the Sahara Desert somewhere. Like who? Because we said the average number of partners. We even read off the numbers during that show. You're gonna like build up a premise and build men are terrible because you probably feel very good about yourself for fucking 100 women in 3 weeks or 6 months. I think even 6 months is probably a pretty good accomplishment for most guys if they could. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you better be a rock star or a rapper or like you were talking about elite level guys with elite level value. There's there's some discrepancies there that I would like to address. Okay, Cap. Yes, we did. We talked about that. And while we're talking rewards, your time is worth it. Thank you. Well, thank you for your $5 to reinforce my behavior. How much can a shared interest in paternal certainty unite men to truce on intersexual warfare based on an innate tribal instinct and driving competition? Well, jealousy and mate guarding are a hell of a drug, my friend. I see Amala, that girl Amala on PragerU, talking about the chick who is the girl who's in the gym, and she's like, filming. Well, by the way, she's not the only one. There's a lot of girls who go in the gym, do a TikTok video saying, "Oh, look at all these pervy guys behind me. They're looking at me because I'm in my freaking yoga pants while I'm working out." Right. I want to tell you this. I was going to actually make that a part of today's show, but I think it's probably best that I don't. The reason why you're even talking about this, Amala and Jedediah and Michaela and Matt Walsh and anybody else on the TradCon side of things, the reason why this is like hot news to you is not because women it's a cognitive dissonance. They don't want guys to look at them, but then they do. No, dudes, no chick, no Amala, no Jedediah. They're doing it because it's a funnel marketing tactic. Every one of those girls has an OnlyFans. The fact that you're talking about it only drives more fucking traffic to them. That's why. Stop getting into this moral panic shit about this. Hey, it's terrible, right? Degeneracy. Oh my God, girls are taking videos of guys checking out their ass in the gym like they've done for like centuries, right? Got it. Okay. Well, it's terrible. But you talking about it, and the reason she's doing it in the first place is to drive traffic to her OnlyFans. And the girl, the main girl that they were trying to discuss, she's got quite the OnlyFans, apparently. That's the marketing tactic. Your protest of her is only helping her out. Do better. Okay, I'm almost out of battery. I am at the 10% mark, so I got to rifle through these real quick. Hi, we should talk about women in fitness tests. Do men test women too? Yes, of course we do. It's usually, is she hot? Does she pass the boner test? That's the test. Thanks, Frollo. Please live forever. Also, top three bands now. I've been listening to Pop Evil, actually, weirdly enough. And who else am I listening to besides my own band? I was listening to Airborne recently, and I'm just going to give you recent bands. And then, and Trivium. I've been getting back into Trivium, kind of. Black men started going overseas during World War I. That's not a typo. Arnold did it in the 80s in Brazil and made videos about it. You still need game, frame, situational awareness, muscles. Yes, you're correct. You'll do much better. Rolo, why can't I watch your channel by latest videos anymore? You can. I know everybody's complaining about this. The reason why is because YouTube has moved around the tabs. So if you want to watch my shows, which are almost all lives, you have to click on the live tab. That's why. Just help you out with that. Rolo, why? Okay, that's it. And this is if there were to be one roundtable meeting to clean out the mana swamp. Really? Are we going to come up with like cutesy terms now? I can hardly wait to watch this replay like 5 years from now and set the record straight for the public. Who do you believe deserves a seat at the table? 10 seats. Clear out the mana swamp. Who gets the table? Well, Rich Cooper, myself, all the guys from Rule Zero. Put it that way. Can we start there? And Mike Sartain, who is now part of Rule Zero. I'm trying to think who wasn't part. Just go look at the roster of Rule Zero, and I put all those guys. That's 10 right there. Easy. Is polygamy a natural evolutionary adaptation? Yes, it is. Go read. There's a book called Promiscuity. It's by Dr. Tim Burkhead. Stop reading David Buss. Go to a guy who's a real evolutionary biologist, not an evolutionary psychologist. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying if you want to talk about like nuts and bolts, like polygamy, look at Dr. Tim Burkhead. He is an evolutionary biologist, and he wrote a great book called Promiscuity. You can get it on Amazon. Women have been doing it for decades and have 2 times more passports than men. So what does that make a woman? Well, apparently creepy and pervy. Rolo JBW does not have the golden ticket, especially in South America. The man, John Poulos, removed his Colombian girlfriend. She had other options and wasn't physically attracted. Okay, thanks for the update on that. And I think that is going to be it for me today, guys. Oh, wait, let me get to this. How do I get into this Red Pill Fiction Club? Hit me up on, you can hear, just look up Masculine Geek, actually. Look up Vince, Masculine Geek on Twitter and send him a DM. Or you can watch our live Dungeons and Dragons game, and he's right there. David Jones, just look up Masculine Geek on Twitter or on YouTube, and you can get involved. David Jones just got here, so I don't know if this was answered, but wanting to stay in the U.S., if I hold frame and red pill praxeology is still a bad idea to get a foreign woman who's more traditional to bring back here. Is that the goal? Because I've got differing opinions on what guys are doing this for. Are they bringing her back? Are they going there to stay? Are you spinning plates? Are you looking for a wife? Troy and Tusk passport bros. I think they won. Are they? Well, they have passports. If you have a passport, does that make you a bro? Because technically I could be a passport bro. I have a passport. I don't have multiple passports. I only own an American passport. Thank you. And I think we're done. Okay, guys, before this time runs out, thank you for spending time with me. I will be on the show. I will be on my Miguel's show tomorrow. Miguel from Dollar Cost Crypto. We will have Icy from Fit, and then later on, Big Mo is coming into town. Icy's already here. I just got the notification. I said, hi, Icy. So we'll be doing a show with Icy tomorrow. I'm going to be just follow my Instagram. If you don't follow my Instagram, please do. If you want to join Men of Action, which by the way is the hands-on practical side of things of all this, join Men of Action right there. That's the group that Mike Sartain and I are. It's the only one I endorse, but it's Mike Sartain's group. If you haven't got the book, please push it out there. I love you guys like brothers and sister wives. And let's see. Oh, last but not least, I will be back home in Reno on Wednesday. I got some other things to talk about then too. I will, let's see, the announcements, I already gave it to you. That was the book announcement. And, and then also look for me again. I'll put this out as a broadcast, but I will be at Sticky Paws official podcast, which will be on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So I guess that will be 8:30 Eastern time. I've got nothing but back to back. This is the only show, my show, and maybe Access Vegas is like, these are my shows. So everything else, I'm doing lots of other stuff too. I was on with Rafi, what's his name? I can't remember his last name now. was on another show just the other day. I've been doing a lot of stuff, so watch this space, and I'll share you the link so you guys can get more involved. And I'm gonna hope to God that this works and we can get out of here on this. So thank you for watching again. Again, I'll be back Wednesday. I'm back in Reno on Wednesday. I will probably do a midweek show if I do one at all on Thursday. And I think we are we out here? Yes, we are. Okay, hopefully this works. I've never done this before on my laptop, so let's see if I can get this to go. Can I get this to go? There we go. Bye-bye. I'm in Vegas. Come see me in Vegas.